maps, but we want to see what maps we are exactly going to today. You can break up the map ban.
Yeah, so we have a pretty standard competitive lineup. PDHM banning out Coastline, Honor following it up with Villa, Oregon being picked by PDHM. Honor will be starting on defense. Our second map picked by Honor is Clubhouse, PDHM starting on defense. Theme and Consulate banned out, leaving Cafe as our decider map. So if you've been around any kind of competitive Siege, these are just the maps that you play.
Yeah,
I mean, these are pretty much the most default maps that you can get when it comes to competitive Siege.
Yeah, the only other one I would throw in there that would be even more default would be like Villa, but hopefully these teams are able to give us a good show on it. I know these teams did play these maps last week. Honor played Clubhouse. They won it 7-2 against Slats, a much more dominant contest than I think anyone really would have thought. And Oregon would have been the decider for PDHM and Slaughterhouse, though we did not need it. It was just Theme Park and Villa, and that was a swift 2-0. So regarding Oregon and Cafe, that is a bit of new territory for both of these teams so far. And with the way PDHM were playing, I mean, even the more structured maps like Theme Park and Villa, they were still playing it pretty aggro. I wonder how the more structured team of Honor is going to deal with it.
Yeah, and I think the last time I even remember seeing PDHM play on Oregon was back during last stage, and I believe the last match of Group A, they played against Axios, and they were they unfortunately had the floor wiped with them because Axios was such a dominant team. But we're just about ready to go into the game, just waiting on a couple of things here. But our first map, once again, will be Oregon. So let's talk a little bit about Oregon, what we want to expect from these teams. So it's a little bit of a new territory for PDHM as well. Last time we saw them on it, like I said, was against Axios, and since then the meta has shifted just a little bit.
Yeah, Oregon so far has kind of settled into its own default laundry dorms, and then either meeting or dining tends to be the rotation. When you're taking upstairs, you know, attic and games is your main push. Laundry is usually pillars and bunk, or if you want to, you know, do a laundry push, then you go laundry freezer. Bands have kind of settled into their own little meta as well. They usually don't deviate, and, you know, non-deviation shall persist. Maverick is the first band from Honor, so, you know, that is very standard, and I wouldn't be surprised if the next band is Thatcher. And yep. All right, there we go.
Yep. So it seems like we're just going to be playing some default Siege today.
I mean, Kali's going to be played. That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll probably see a lot of Kali. I imagine Ace duoing too, because he's kind of taken that hard breach role now.
Wow, Mira as well. Let's see. Can I take a guess? Is it going to be Goyo?
Wamai?
Wamai, Goyo, some kind
maybe
of
something cool.
Maybe.
No, it's Wamai.
Wamai. Yep, pretty much just some default Siege day. But I think with that, I mean, we're going to see the very aggressive nature of Canadian teams, because that was one of the things we were talking about before the match. Was there's a big difference between US and Canadian just in general. While Honor may be a little bit more structured of a team than PDHM, in general, Canadian teams tend to be very, very aggressive, very just hard on the attack. I mean, it's going to be interesting game, and already it looks like the off lineup is indicating that we don't have there's no real anchors like we saw with the US playing on Oregon last week. I mean, it's pretty much either roamers or flex players, so this is going to be a very, very aggressive match.
Yeah, one thing that, you know, Crater, our producer, has said is he likes watching the Canadian teams. He thinks that the matches are a little bit more exciting. When it comes to US, everything is a lot more ingrained in strategy. Unfortunately, when things don't go well, a lot of American teams will just kind of stall out and wait. Canadian teams, when stall out, they're like, actually just got to make a play. They just got to run at each other and get in and look for the gunfights. And that's kind of one of the most exciting things about Canada, I think. And Honor are already setting up for a pretty interesting strategy. They're bringing the mute, they're bringing the castle, and they've even got the E-box hatch open and are reinforcing the meeting wall. So they're going to go for the meeting roam. It's not something that's completely out of the realm of possibility. You know, it's not, you know, off meta. It's just something that we don't usually see, and something that is typically off meta is because they're doing the meeting roam, they will leave Elbow vacant despite having the smoke. So Elbow going to be up for grabs for the attack, but they'll have to deal with those bandit batteries, and the only person who can deal with that utility is default on the Twitch, because they're not bringing a Kali, and Maverick and Thatcher are both banned.
Yeah, I think it's interesting not seeing the Kali brought as a sort of gadget denial, especially with the bandit being on the board. I mean, you've got a mute there as well to counter those Twitch drones. It's going to be very difficult unless we see so we see some kind of play from LSG here using Zofia, because I think that's really the only other option they have. Potentially WAV with those frag grenades. If they want to get Envision off, they're either going to have to get aggressive, or and it looks like they're going to choose the aggressive route, as WAV already pushed the big tower, and it looks like following close behind him is going to be head.
And we do have plenty of utility to deal with those characters. Falling, but from the footholds, Stove takes a lot of damage from Envision playing the Bandit. First Ace Charge goes out on that E-Box wall, so it'll make the position of the Bandit a little more exposed. And WAV, one of the star players for PDHM, he'll be the one to find the first pick on a star player of Honor himself, Hawks.
Yeah, and going ahead and taking out that Mozzie as well. It's a big roamer. That's all those drones that they caught. There's no more use coming out of those except as static cameras. And that's a good pick early on, getting rid of that roamer, because there's still a minute and a half left. That was another thing I noticed about the US games, is a minute and a half in, you didn't usually see a kill gone off, and already we have one of the big roamers taken out, and they're making big moves onto the site. Oh. We already see a move come in, and Vision takes down Tuffy. Or Stove, my mistake. Default getting the refrag, and Maple finding one back on to Default, evening it back out to a 3-on-3.
What I'm a little bit worried about, though, is that was a pretty aggressive push into site that was stumped. Yes, they got their picks, but there's no control, and Wolfsies is still upstairs. WAV is hunting for the kill. He knows this smoke has not rotated back down to site because he still sees the shield, and he hasn't dropped down E-Box, and, you know, unless he's gonna go all the way back over to Split, he's still up there. Tack is going to find LSG. That's a great pick from him to put man count back in his team's favor. And as WAV will drop the attic hatch to hunt Wolfsies yet again, sprinting will reveal his location, and Wolfsies should be expecting this push anytime soon. WAV will take the angle, and Wolfsies just keeps running away. Wolfsies checking Harry Potter, but that's not where the ace is positioned. He's by E-Box, so Wolfsies goes down. Tack and Maple, the only two defenders left to try and hold out the site. Now, Maple still does have that C4. He can still get that free pick, but he is all the way inside a freezer. A smoke grenade goes to cut off his line of sight and make it a 2-on-1 on the castle, but Tack gets his frag. It's traded out. It's all up to the Maple, but no, they actually trade. I thought Maple potatoed there, but he was able to land enough shots, and because it was a trade with no bomb down, defenders win that round.
Yeah, I mean, that was... there was a lot of issues that I had with how PDHM were taking it. I was watching, and like you mentioned very, very early on, despite them getting their picks, despite them getting the kills that they really should have gotten, there was no control. They failed a site push. I mean, there were a lot of things that went wrong, and trades are not the way you want to go, especially on attack. If you're on defense, then yeah, a trade is fine because you still have hard control of that site, but on attack, it's a lot easier to lose control if you just get one person get traded out, and we saw that very quickly from PDHM. So I think if they want to win this round, they have to hold on to their control. They have to get those kills, and they need to not get traded back. They also need to not go hunting for kills. I think that's where their aggression is really going to get them, and that's where the aggressive nature of PDHM as compared to Honor is really, really going to hurt them.
Headless did get 3 kills, so Headless already has more kills than in the entire series last time they played, so good job to Headless. Unfortunately, with that push, PDHM made a gambit. They opted not to try and clear the meeting room, just push through E-Box, try and hit supply hard and fast, and it did not work thanks to the crossfire from Freezer, thanks to the castle of Tack just hitting his shot. So they'll opt to go run dorms next, so pretty standard rotation, standard operator lineup too, Malusi. A little bit less of the utility burn, of course, because Ramai is no longer on the board, but, you know, you still got Kaid to try and lock off the games wall, and again, no Kali. You're really gonna have to hunt that Electro Claw down with the Twitch drone if you want to get it open, but last time Default tried doing that, I mean, it was as easy as the Bandit just shooting the drone and replacing his battery. There you go, elbows locked off.
Yeah, and another thing as well is now that this is on the second floor, it does open up a little bit more possibility with LSG using Zofia or Stove, using those Ash charges to get rid of it as well. There's a little bit more flexibility now that they have that verticality aspect to it, whereas there wasn't any way for them to do that down in the basement. but it's still going to be difficult for them if Honor has any kind of control downstairs. Now, however, they don't really right now. They have 4 people up in the main site. They have Wolfsies over in small tower. So if they really wanted to, they could go under and take care of it, but it looks like they're just going to be using Default's drone for now to go ahead and allow Stove potentially to get a push in there with Ash.
And here's the standard utility burn meta we see inside of Attic. Ash throwing all her flashbangs over to burn the ADSs. Of course, there's no Amidus to worry about, but there's still a shield over in Attic and the Melusi Banshees. And speaking of the Melusi, she herself will be taken out very early by default. So you're losing a C4. Well, I'm not sure if Pox had C4 impacts. You're losing a possible C4. You're also, again, losing Pox. He's a big player for this team. Of course, Maple and Tac definitely stepped up in the last round, but giving away an early pick is never what you want, as the defense, as now the attackers start to move in, and they'll try to take control of Attic. As Maple will get the swing on Wav, down him, but quickly be traded off.
Yeah, and losing your smoke this early on is definitely not what you want to see from Honor. Wolfsies, though, very quickly trading one back onto default, and there is no more Twitch usage going to come out of PDHM. That is a big pick for them. I mean, losing your Twitch this early on is huge, and Vision going to take a little bit of damage there as
I can't find
Wav.
it.
Yeah, Wav is trying to find this Electric Claw, but is unfortunately not going to be able to, and that's going to slow them down a lot, but they're going to go ahead and try and get some more control of Attic, despite there's not any defenders in there. I mean, they're still trying to hold it out the push from Big Tower. I feel like PDHM is not... they're not taking the control they need to right now. However, though, I say that Headless is going ahead, is going to start to make the push over towards Envision. Is going to force him off of that wall and back over into the dorm main hall now, as they're slowly getting more and more control of the site. But Wolfsy's there as LSG tries to make the push. He's going to lose it. Tac takes care of Wav, but very quickly Headless trades and backs out. But Wolfsy's there with a quick double kill. Is going to finish it out and push us over to 2-0 in favor of Honor.
I think that was actually a quad kill at the end of the round for Wolfsies.
It absolutely was.
So, brilliant play on the roam from him. I mean, we saw the entire round, he didn't really stop moving. He was crouch walking through the building the whole time, never really pinned down, was able to get some perfect kills on the flank, and then came up white just as the push started to come. That was the perfect time that his team needed him, and was able to find 4 just as they all tried to funnel through Trophy because, again, they had no one to deal with the Kaid. I mean, at that point,
now
you know,
they're bringing Cali.
IQ's not really the best operator on Oregon, but if you're really struggling to find the Electro Claw, she's going to help. You know, you can send maybe an impact over there to take care of it, just so you don't have to shoot it. But either way, you know, the Twitch isn't enough. And with how hard breach centric this map is, you can't be giving up control of games like that. All you're doing is pushing through the trophy doorway and pushing from the attic doorway. If someone holds that attic rotate, then I mean, you're just pushing in the same room from the same direction.
Exactly, and we have actually seen that change now. They finally realized that this is the change they need. Default has switched off of Twitch. Gonna go ahead and take that Zofia away from LSG and allow him to go ahead and take that Cali to allow them to have a little bit more hard breach potential, get rid of some of these gadgets, but there's no Kaid here. There's just a mute here, which is going to be a little bit easier to deal with. So, unfortunately, not necessarily an operator pick wasted, but not nearly as effective as it would have been on these other sites.
Really just see how the alibi works out. So, Honor did this last time, right? They have a downstairs roam. Or sorry, not a downstairs roam. They have a shield all set up inside of kitchen, and they have an upstairs roam with Jaeger. You got mute for the drone denial, and you've got Valkyrie usually sitting in attic trying to delay as long as possible. So Wolfsy's on that roll, playing with her cameras outside of big towers. Now she'll see all the people rappelling up. She might go for this run out. Ash on drone. This is the perfect opportunity, but Wolfsy's gonna hold on. He's gonna break the window. C4 actually coming out to try and pick off the Ash, and it will. Stove dead thanks to a fantastic camera placement from Wolfsy's.
Yeah, and already the star player from last week seems to be struggling a little bit. Now down 1-3. His the four entry flex players does not seem to be working out very well for PDHM, and I think it once again goes back to that structure that you were talking about that Honor has compared to PDHM. I mean, pure aggression is not what they need here. As I say that though, that pure aggression is going to work out for Default as he takes down Pox once again. Has been the entry pick for PDHM every single round so far.
I am not sure why Pox opted to re-engage after taking all that damage on the tower stairs. it's like he took the damage and was like, wait, what was that? And re-peeked and then died. So that's what you get when you do that. A lot of PDHM over towards the garage area. Default sitting in T1 of tower, and I'm not quite sure. I thought I saw two people garage. I don't know if all three of them are there. LSG is burning the barbed wire over and split, because I guess they're doing a split push, which is not really something you see nowadays at all. I mean, they haven't even taken top tower, and that is an easy flank, and in fact, it's from attic, not even top tower. Wolfsies doesn't need to move. Tac finds an easy kill, and Vision with the shotgun from above finds Wav, and it's LSG and Headless. Two support operators to clutch out a 2 versus 4 with no map control established from Honor. No, only one frag on a guy who's 0-3, haven't shut down anyone else. Finally, LSG is going to attempt to top floor clears, and Vision trying to rotate back to site gets caught, but still it's a 2 versus 3. Headless and LSG have a lot of work ahead of them.
Absolutely. The AK-12, I think, is definitely a good weapon to do it, but Cali as well is just not going to be strong, especially up against him as Tac here as he tries to be around that corner, but wow, a really nice snap there from LSG is going to take down Tac. As I say that, doesn't matter that he has the better gun in that situation. LSG is just faster.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty fantastic flick. And now
Absolutely.
It's back to a 2v2. So Honor have essentially thrown their lead away thanks to LSG playing a pretty sneaky Kali. Someone's coming up the tower stairs, though. It's Wolfs. He's looking for the flank to shut down the big player this round, and the only reason that PDHM have a chance. Headless is going for the plan. He's going to need LSG to cover. Here comes Maple. Wolfsies getting that flank off. Down goes the attic player. Wolfsies gets refragged, though. Headless can find the pick, and he does! The 2K at the end of the round. PDHM will clutch up 2 versus 3. Sorry, 2 for 4.
Yeah, that was a really great play by Headless there, but yeah, that was a great play by Headless and LSG there. I mean, they play that very, very well. LSG playing the very sneaky Kali, Headless just being there ready for the drop. I mean, even after LSG was killed, they know exactly where the Valkyrie is going to have to come from, and with that little time left, he knows that she's probably going to drop from that hatch and knows that they're probably going to go for a pinch of some kind. They're not going to come from the exact same direction. And just, that was a very, very, very nice read there by Headless. But I do want to go back to earlier on in the round. It should not have gone down to a 2v4 like it did. It really should not have, because PDHM, they're playing this very aggressive game. They're not droning almost at all. It seems like there's almost no intel on the side of PDHM, and that has come back to bite them. I mean, you saw Tac up in attic was very easily able to kill Default on Zofia because he had no idea that he was up there and had no idea that the Valkyrie of Wolfsies was sitting inside a big tower even after the C4 kill came out on the stove.
Yeah, that was a super confusing round for PDHM, and then it became a super confusing round for Honor as LSG was able to just crouch walk around the map, find 2 kills, and then Headless clutched up where it mattered, right? He had a very slow game last week, and he is stepping it up. He's already 6-2 in 3 rounds, and Honor dropped a round they really shouldn't have. And now they'll rotate back to Laundry. The push from PDHM was really, really good. Like, I've never seen someone try to take through Garage to take Meeting without even trying to go tower attic. I guess they tried to circumvent the pressure, and here's the Kali doing work. Finally, Bandit batteries go down, and that's exactly what they need to get Elbow open, as Honor are playing yet again. Very similar Meeting Roam. And that means Elbow is up for grabs. And I don't know, that angle into the site, because that angle wasn't open, Tac was able to sit there and lock off that pressure from E-Box. But now that the angle will be opened, I don't know if Honor are going to be able to hold it as firmly as Pox will yet again. The 4th round in a row, be the first death on Honor.
Yeah, and I mean, really, that is just unfortunate. Pox, I mean, the captain of this team has been playing, I mean, not necessarily, I mean, pretty much roles you want to keep up. I mean, roles that need to be fragging roles. I mean, Malusi, Valkyrie, all these other things. But as I say that, their default is going to be taken out by Tac as he tries to make a swing on in. It was up from upstairs in Meeting, unfortunately, and that is your Zofia down and out. And they were actually able to stop the ace, and no more charges left for him at all. Means they have no entry through the walls into sight, which is going to force them through E-Box, through pillars, and is going to make this a lot easier for Honor to cut off. But it does look like they're going to go for a little bit of a split push here to try and stretch Honor's resources a bit thin, as WAV and LSG look to be trying to clear the roamers from upstairs.
And Wav just kind of face-checking everything, though. He's got no intel. All he knows is the smoke is somewhere upstairs, and Wolfsies will get away scot-free and rotate back down towards Freezer and join his teammates on site. Vision's still trying to lock off E-boxes. I believe Stove has joined Wav on this odd, like, skeleton of a roam clear. They're just kind of walking around, checking angles and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Wav will have his sledgehammer out, I believe, clearing the castle barricades over by meeting as Maple knows Stove is pushing over towards Freezer. The C4 will miss, so Stove will persist. You know, the defenders really have to be careful about exposing themselves to the head holes in the Freezer wall. Wav will get a second kill of the round. He'll find Tack. He'll eventually be traded out by Maple inside of Freezer, as there's no pressure really from Stove. He's just a presence, but not actually challenging this mute. He's also got to be careful of the crossfire being held by the bandit, and Vision could swing at any time. And the rest of PDHM is pretty separated. Stove will go down, and because there's no one with him, there's no trade. LSG doing his best to push in. He'll get one. Sorry, Headless will get one, but LSG's fragged out by Envision. It's all up to Headless. He'll get a double kill, but what? He just wins all the fights! Honor, what are you doing? Headless with a massive 3K and a brilliant display of gun skill to clutch out the round.
That should not have worked at all. Headless once again is just, he's woken up. He has finally woken up. 9 kills on round number 4, might I add as well. No, Headless even calling out 9 times my kills last match.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, he is definitely, he's woken up this game. He absolutely has woken up this game. But also, I think Honor are kind of getting complacent towards the end of these rounds, because they absolutely have the setup to win these matchups. They should absolutely be winning this. They have crossfire set up. They have all this presence on the site, all these other things that should be going in their favor. And it's just not working out because Headless is just able to slam them into the ground over and over and over again, despite PDHM as a whole really struggling.
I mean, that whole round should have been Honors. PDHM didn't have a roam clear. It was what, another 2v3?
Yeah.
I think. LSG goes down on the swing, trying to just push through supply by himself. PDHM are very separated. You know, Headless was like, what, 5 seconds behind Stove pushing Freezer?
Yeah, he was.
But Headless just walks downstairs and kills everyone because Honor, instead of healing back and waiting for Headless to come to them, they hold the angles and they peek. Headless just pre-fires and he wins the fight. So Headless is doing really well for himself, and Honor will go to Laundry for the 3rd time this game. And they're still bringing a castle, and they're still bringing the same exact strategy with the castle barricade set up in E-box, with the meeting hold.
I will say that, again, I mean, it's...
Why?
Wow, okay.
Why are you barricading
Why are you there?
The kitchen door at 2 minutes 40? Default with probably the easiest entry of his life. He will get traded out, but still, it's 1-for-1. I mean, yes, you lose Default, so you lose a lot of utility with a castle and a shield up, but then you'll lose another. Wolfsies goes down, that's the smoke.
Although Pox here finally waking up as well. We were just talking about Headless finally waking up during this match. Pox being the entry kill for PDHM on just about every round so far, finally getting his first 2 kills of the match. That Bolo Charm really coming in handy right there as Wolfsies and Maple will finally get their revenge post-mortem as Stove and Default have fallen to him.
And here's the roam clear mounting. Yet again, no real drone work, just kind of relying on the Jackal to ping out the location of this Valkyrie. Pox now backing himself into a corner though, so as soon as he gets one pick, or as soon as he gets Jackal tracked, he's gonna be stuck. Bait out the C4, but for some reason decides he's gonna look at Armory?
Yeah, that was a very odd peek by him, and that was... Yeah, that was just very odd by him, and that was not the way things needed to go. But now PDHM are in an advantage. 3-on-2. I mean, this is one of the first times they have had an advantage, I think, during this match. I mean, despite them having 2 rounds up, I mean, both of those rounds have been won at the hands of Headless, and only Headless. I mean, this is the first time they've had a man advantage outside of just taking out Pox.
Yeah, Tack and Envision certainly have their work cut out for them. Of course, they've been doing fairly well this game so far. Headless is actually going to dedicate 2 of his ace charges to opening a hatch. So that's the reason why Ace doesn't exactly power creep Hibana, because Ace sucks for opening hatches.
Mhm.
That's what you're going to use your Hibana for. And in fact, he'll use the third on the castle barricade, so really not much hard breaching going on at all. The pre-fire from Tak, LSU will just walk right into the line of fire. And Vision with a C4 out trying to catch Webb, but he can't find him. 35 seconds left, and his Headless will find two again! Why are you peeking Headless over and over? You have the advantage. You just have to sit. Wait, there is 25 seconds left, and you swing and you line up in the rotate. Headless has now clutched 3 rounds in a row. Every single round PDHM has is because Honor peaked Headless and they lose.
This is. I'm just speechless. I am honestly just speechless. I mean, I'm just wow. I have no words because I mean, Headless again has shown up like we have not seen him show up before during this stage.
11 times kills he had in the first game now.
Exactly. I mean, PDHM are really, because before, I mean, I was worried because PDHM, in order to fight against a very structured team like Honor, you have to counter it with structure. You absolutely have to counter it with structure most of the time, but Honor's structure is falling apart because they're doing the same thing over and over again. They're peeking Headless when they have the advantage, and Headless just wins that.
And they're also running very similar strategies every round.
Yeah.
Every time they've defended Laundry, what is it? Castle barricade on E-box, castle barricade on Laundry, castle barricade upstairs, open attic hatch, meeting roam with smoke in the shield, try and roam in dorms with your Valkyrie, have someone support from inside kitchen. Eventually, PDHM are just like, stop. You have done this 3 times now. We know how you're going to play it. Bring the Jackal for the roam clear. I mean, PDHM have not been playing it perfectly either, right?
No.
A lot of it has just been face checking. There's not a lot of drones, but Headless, every time Honor have the advantage, Headless is there.
Yeah.
Headless is there to slap him down, humble him again, and if it weren't for Headless, PDHM would probably be down at least 3-2, maybe even 4-1 by now.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I mean, we've been kind of ragging on PDHM, but I do want to give them credit. At least during these last few rounds, they have definitely shown up a little bit more, and they have they've really started figuring out these strats more. Although it looks like Envision here has the perfect Electroclaw placement to avoid the to avoid the charges there from Kali, and that'll make it a little bit more difficult. But through the floor, I believe that was an Ash charge, is going to open it up, and this is going to give Stovo quite a bit of damage there from Envision as he sprays through the floorboards.
But doesn't matter, because in the end, they were just trying to flush the Kite off the wall, distract him so that he could not Electroclaw trick Attic. So it will open, Headless using one of his ace charges on that, and yet again, PDHM with their patent-pended... Okay, Headless is going to just get a kill, again, with their patent-pending face check roam.
Yeah.
And they don't even need to do that. Fox is just going to peek the highway window, and there you go. Easy kill for Headless, who now is 12-2.
Yeah.
Stop peeking, just stop peeking Headless. Just stop. You're just not going to win.
I mean, he is playing... He's supposed to be the hard support IGL, and the rest of the team is supposed to be this entry flex role, and those have just switched. Everyone else has become the support flex, and he has become the entry and just the sole fragger for this team. And
wait, wrong corner.
Oh wow,
he wins that.
Wins that.
Wolfsies, you gotta win those. He had a frag grenade in his hand, and Wolfsies whiffs all the shots.
He took
now it's
way too
45
long.
seconds left, and PDHM have an advantage that they should never have had in the first place, and they'll open the game's wall. For the first time this game, they will actually get the necessary hard breach down, and with Headless popping off, and Honor needlessly exposing themselves, that might be just what they need as Envision is taken out by default. There's the flank from White, but it's just a distraction as Headless finds the trade. He sees the foot of the last player. They know he's in kids. There's 4 members of PDHM left, and Headless doesn't even need to get the plant down. Default with his second kill of the round. PDHM with round 6, and a very dominant attacking half on Oregon.
4 rounds straight from PDHM. they have completely turned this around. Earlier, Honor was getting the ball rolling. They had the structure, they had the strats to completely and totally shut down PDHM because they know, okay, PDHM, they're a fairly aggressive team. They were not counting on Headless being as just dominant as he has been. Of every single fight that he should not have won, statistically, he has won. 2v1s, 3v1s that he's been in, or 3v2s that he's been in, it should not have gone in his favor, and it has multiple times, and Honor are starting to flounder. That last round kind of showed it a little bit. I'm waiting to see what happens after the side switch here, but Honor look like they're kind of floundering now. They're down 4-2 after their defensive half on Oregon. I mean, that is
Honor struggling.
Yeah, they're really struggling right now. I think they went in, they got very confident after those first 2 rounds. They got overconfident. They peaked too much. They held angles they really should not have kept holding, and it just
they get jittery at the end of the round. They're like, all right, 1 kill left. You know, we gotta get this guy. And Headless just says, nope. I would like to remind everybody that Headless, in the previous game, it was a, how many rounds was the last game versus Slaughterhouse? It was 7-3, 7-4. In a 21-round game. 21 rounds. You know how many kills Headless had?
How many?
1.
Yeah.
Headless was 1-10 across 21 rounds in 2 maps, and he now has 13 times that in 6 rounds. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if Headless took like 5 Adderalls before this game or something, but he's popping off, and Honor are feeding him like he's a starving child or something. I don't get it. Honor just keep peeking, and they need to not. Every time Honor have the advantage, it's just peek, 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 peek. We gotta find the last kill. We gotta get this pick. And Headless says, nope.
Yeah.
I'm the pick you're trying to find, and you are not gonna find me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it is just... Yeah, I'm honestly, I want to see how Honor is going to approach the attack, because on defense, being very, very structured is going to... It's going to help and deter aggression, which is what comes from PDHM. But on attack, that structure, if you have a very aggressive defense, that may not work out, because you may not expect, oh, they're just gonna peek that for whatever reason, and that could completely throw it off if you have the wrong person holding an angle or whatever. Oh. So I'm just
speaking of the wrong person holding an angle, look who's the one holding Freezer that Honor are currently trying to assault.
Oh no.
There's the flashbangs to burn, so Headless will run away for now. A nade with his name on it is likely to come soon, and there it is, and he decides he's gonna vault up on the boxes. So, you know, if you can't beat Headless in a gunfight, you might as well take him out indirectly. Wolfseas with a nice nade there. Now, Default will deal a lot of damage to Wolfseas through those prone holes, and now he'll retake the position once covered by Headless. So still, Freezer sort of in the defender's control. Yes, they can use that rotate to their advantage, but they can't actually push through, not unless they deal with the Kaid. Wolfseas is playing very passively too, as Maple will throw one of his ace charges on. Kaid can deal with it, but no, there's a smoke grenade, and he's not even going to try a C4 to make sure there's no one close to the fridge, and it will miss, but there's a lot of 4v5. Honor with 40 seconds left is trying to make this push happen, but there's no one even in Laundry. They're only Freezer and Freezer hatch. Pox has the E-Box hatch open, but he's really the only one able to play off of it, as he's just kind of sitting and meeting. Honor, I mean, they have Freezer control, really don't have a lot else. Stove is looking for the flank on this Hibana, as well as he will just sprint through the doorway, and he will lose the fight. No, they trade, but still, damage done. No more meeting pressure for the attack. Everything has to come through Freezer and Laundry. Gas canisters coming out, stalling out Wolfseas. He'll go down and is finished off. Default with a kill inside of Freezer. He's refragged by Tag, but it's too little too late. 000 Maple has to get the plant. They're trying to run through the smoke. You're right in front of him. He gets the kill anyway. Wab is trying to plant the planter, but Maple comes off, but LSG is there for the trade. One of the messiest Laundry defenses I have ever seen. Wow. It doesn't matter. PDHM get the job done, and they go up 5-2.
I mean, hey, whatever gets the job done.
Yeah, what the hell just happened?
That was a mess. I mean, I think you had think it was Jaeger running through the smoke, gets the kill onto onto Ash there, misses Ace planting. Smoke comes through, downs Ace after Ace kills Jaeger and wins it. That was just, everyone was running around and too focused on just like,
And
where's
the Jaeger couldn't find the planter, even though he was literally Wav couldn't move because he was running into the planter inside the smoke.
I mean, I feel like that
That was
that entire last 10 seconds of that round can be defined
dude,
by
like
the counter terrorist voice line of where's the bomb, where's the bomb, where's the bomb, where's the bomb,
yeah, like
just over and over and over again.
what they were setting up for to do, right? All right, Hibana was in meeting. You got guys trying to take Freezer, trying to lock off the crossfire into the site. Ashley rotates. PDHM were setting for was like a blitz strategy. Like, okay, open up the castle barricade. The moment that castle barricade opens, throw down your smokes, go for the plant, try and execute. Last couple seconds, hope we catch Honor off guard. Hibana was banking off the chaos that creates and going for the E-box flank. Now what happens is Stove walks up the stairs, trades with the Hibana. Yes, it's a trade, so mankind advantage is still in Honor's favor, but you take away that flank, and that kind of push without that flank, unless you really have everything unlocked, is doomed to fail. But Wolfsey still held Freezer, even got a pick before he was traded. The player inside of Laundry goes down. There's no cover on the planter. The planter had to get his own kill.
Yeah.
Coming off of it. And unfortunately, he got traded out by LSG. So that was very hectic round.
Yeah, and like you were saying about Stove, I mean, it was a trade. It goes back to what I said very early on. On the attack, you cannot take trades. You have to be in the man advantage. You have to take away as much presence as you can from the defense without losing any of your own. And if you trade it out, it doesn't matter at all. And there's Wav getting spotted out by drones there, taking some shots to the floor by Pox, is not going to... Actually, not going to be flushed out of his position in armory just yet. He's going to stick by it.
He took a bullet through the floor, I think, but he was able to move away before it did any serious damage. But he is going to back down main stairs. So he's not exactly in armory anymore. Wolfsey's right now just looking for a ghost.
Ooh.
As speaking of Wolfsey's, will completely outskill Stove with that Claymore. You can tell that took massive brain energy to place that explosive device, and Stove just unfortunately wandering right into it. So a great counterplay there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably a good play by Honor to bring a Claymore or some kind of trap like that, because they know PDHM is going to be aggressive.
Joking. It's not an out skill. It's just a Claymore kill.
Yeah, I mean, it is just a Claymore kill. It's not an out skill, but I mean, it's a good play by Honor to bring that because they know how aggressive PDHM is. They know that they will swing and they will go for kills if they see any kind of opportunity, which that's what happened with Stove. He was looking for kills and he got just a little bit too greedy, didn't check his feet and walk right into the lasers. Envision gonna take a bit of damage there as Headless is gonna swing out onto the window, but Wolfsey's there gonna go ahead and take down the monster player of Headless. And that is going to be your Valkyrie off the board, as well as the player of Headless, LSG, WAV, and Default, the last three on the board. A C4 and 3 smoke canisters still in the hands of PDHM. There's still lots of utility in the hands of PDHM to slow down this push, even though it is a 5v3. Make that a 4v3 as Default is sitting in Attic and is going to catch Wolfsey's completely off guard.
Okay, just walked through... rotate. Didn't expect Default to be there, I guess. What I'm a little bit worried about is Headless seems to have cooled off. I wonder if he's been disabled now that he can't use the AK-12 on defense. But Default's there for a second kill and a third kill as Wav will just hop up, swing on the big window, and LSG finishes off Maple. What the hell happened? PDHM just swinging everything and winning. Default with a massive 3K. LSG just spraying through the smoke, and Wav destroying the Capitao on the window.
Yep.
Honor are just... twisting in the wind, they're flailing, and they can't make anything work right now. PDHM have caught them at every turn.
Yeah, and Default now, who was having a little bit of a slow game at the start, wasn't really doing a whole lot, has really picked up in these last couple of rounds, skyrocketed up to 10 kills. WAV not far behind at 7. And PDHM are going kitchen dining, with right now it looks like a clash. Are they going to lock that or are they going to sixth it? It looks like that. I've seen, yep, I was about to say, PDHM have actually been the only ones to six pick things. Honor have consistently, they've kept with the same roster on attack, but PDHM will consistently six pick off of things. And I think bringing the clash there is kind of a little bit of a fake out to maybe scare off Honor a little bit, make them be a little bit more cautious. Might work, but if they don't see that while they're droning, and Honor being they're more info heavy, they like droning a little bit more than PDHM does, I think they'll find out pretty quickly that that clash is not on the board, and that six pick really not really having the effect that I think PDHM wants it to.
Well, see how they defend dining. Of course, Honor went for a meeting play. Didn't work because Headless said no.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Headless now on stronger weapon than the MPX or the Vector. He's on the Alda, which I don't know if you compare the Alda to the AK-12. They have similar fire rate.
Yeah.
Alda does a lot of damage. 81 bullets, by the way. So you know, if Headless cooled off because of his weaponry, you know, this is certainly the weapon to bring him back to form. He's definitely going to need it. Dining is a pretty difficult site to defend, especially if you lose showers early, and it's largely going to fall, I believe, onto likely Headless. Be the one to hold that position for as long as he can.
Yeah, and once again, he's going to have to show his prowess as he has during the attacking half, if you want that to be. But already we're going to see some setup there by Envision, throwing out those air jabs to try and slow down. Again, once again, the aggression. They're trying to bring things to curb PDHM's aggression, prevent any kind of runouts, prevent any swings if possible. And once again, the Claymore on the side of Wolfsies. They're definitely scared. I mean, Honor feels scared, and they're playing this a lot slower than I think they need to. Wolfsy's there actually going to take a bit of damage through the floor as he is fighting Default, I believe. Yeah.
You say they're not only trying to curb their aggression, but curb their enthusiasm.
That's stop.
All right, I'm sorry. Default taking a bit of early damage on the Valkyrie Wrap, still on his roam upstairs, and a lot of this site comes down to the vertical play, which PDHM still holds squarely in their favor. They're also still inside of showers. Headless not yet flushed out. There has been hard breach, so the wall is open, giving the attackers a better line of sight in there, but he still persists. He'll take a little bit of damage, I believe, actually from an Ash charge, but it's nothing too major. It's now Default bullet holes angles. He's trying to keep the attackers at bay with a low risk, high reward, you know, high skill level angle. Is Headless, I mean, a lot of this revolves around Headless being lynch.
Absolutely. I mean,
as a lot of people say, dining, a lot of dining revolves just how long you can stay in showers and delay, and so far it's been 2 minutes, and Envision will pay the price as WAV upstairs will take him down.
Yeah, and going ahead and clearing out that Nomad, despite all the air jabs being used, that's your upstairs presence gone on the side of Honor. They're going to have to quickly look to fill that, but already there's 3 quick kills as Wolfsies gets 2 onto Stove and Headless, and Default is killed by a nade. Pox finds another one, and wow! 3 kills from Wolfsy as that entire round just goes down the drain for PDHM in a matter of seconds.
So, PDHM had upstairs control. Had the Jaeger, he gets a pick. Honor are like, all right, guys, got showers open, but we can't take this guy out. We're having trouble. There's no one in kitchen. For whatever reason, the smoke isn't covering the angle. What can we do? Well, we can just walk through the doorway, kill Maestro through the rotate, kill Valkyrie from the doorway, and as the smoke tries to swing the refrag, there was Pox there to catch him. And that was just a lapse of judgment from PDHM, not covering the necessary angle they needed. All they needed was one person staring at that doorway. And that could have changed the outcome of the round. But unfortunately, after the Maestro died, there was not a fast enough call from the rest of, from him to communicate to the rest of the team that the entire attack team was already inside of dining. So, a great adjustment there from Honor, a great blitz push, and PDHM falling a little flat. But it is the offsite, and they do still have a 3-round lead on map point, and they still get to defend Laundry and Dorms. So,
yeah,
that's not. It's good for Honor. You know, great job taking a round back, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to prevent PDHM from winning the map in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I do want to bring it back though. This round, the end of the last time that they went down here was very, very confusing. Honor banked very heavily on an explosive last few second push to plant, and smoke was going to win them the round. And oh no, that was almost incredible by Wav, but Tack is just a little bit faster and is going to be able to take him down. And that is an early kill for Honor that PDHM did not need at all.
Like they always say, right? That shot from Tack, it's all in the wrist.
Absolutely, it's
Get
all in the wrist.
Just because Tack's wrist locks up sometimes, so he does the flick thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wrist, yeah.
I remember that. Yep.
He's been doing that for a year. I'm glad to see it's gotten better. I was talking to Lioness, I think, and she said it's gotten better. So Tack, I always admired Tack for being able to power through that and still being the amazing fragger as he is. Now Fox does get traded back. Unfortunately for Honor, they will lose one of their hard breachers, but they still got Ace. Ace brings a lot to the table, especially on basement. But what I'm a little bit worried about is Honor look like they're yet again going for the freezer laundry push. I'm a bit scared for them with their past history on this.
Yeah, it's they have to I think do a little bit better about knowing the position of the defenders, because they not only cut off the defender's line of sight, they cut off their own lines of sight when they threw those smokes out, and that I honestly think that hurt them more than anything.
Yeah, being not able to see the guy pushing the planter and sitting on top of him kind of was not great. But Stove just being shut down a lot, you know, not having the resounding success he had in the last series. He'll get shut down by Envision. Now, it's a 3 versus 4, but PDHM still holding firmly onto Freezer, using these floor holes, using Headless just in the corner. There hasn't been a nade to clear him out just yet. Flashbangs will come out to make sure there's no ADSs protecting him, but Wolfsey's out of frags. Actually, he used them both unsuccessful, so they might have a bit harder of a time trying to clear Headless out because they can't do it indirectly. A lot of this will ride on whether or not Headless can win his gunfights, or whether or not Default has proper cover on the cross to prevent Headless from getting slammed. And there's one kill for Default. Great pick by him. Maple goes down. That's the ace dead, as well as your primary planter, as well as the remaining smoke grenade. Speaking of smoke grenade, LSG will throw his babes out. Headless rotates away. He knows there's pressure coming from tower stairs, but no, he'll leave it to the kite. Default deals a little damage. Actually, no damage at all to Envision just yet, but his presence alone is going to stop Envision from pushing down. Headless will get traded out, though. Wolfsey's on that frag, but no, Envision doesn't know where Default is and is ignorant of the angle. The last two attackers both pushing from Freezer. An easy kill for Default. A triple on the round for him. One shot away from death as Wolfsey's. And look at PDHM. They know they don't have to swing, and the good halves come out in chat as PDHM win round 10 off of time, not getting overly aggressive. The biggest difference between PDHM's defenses and Honor's.
Absolutely there, and at the very end, despite Headless's incredible performance, Default skyrockets to the top. And oh man, that was an incredible play by him. He just shut down every single aspect of that push from Freezer. Now, what we saw during the round where it got a little bit hectic is there was a split push. There was a push on Laundry Stairs and there was a push in Freezer. We didn't see that split push. They dedicated everything to Freezer, and that absolutely hurt them. So I'm interested to see which way the next map is going to go. This was PDHM's map pick. So, but despite them having kind of a little bit of a slow start, I think we might see a little bit of a change on Clubhouse, although if PDHM is able to just completely dismantle the defenses by sheer aggression and sheer luck almost with Headless as they were last time, then I don't know. I honestly don't know. They get started on defense on the next map, so we'll see how that goes. I was honestly caught very off guard by how that map went.
Especially Honor being one of the favorites. To win the entire thing. They were the first place CACL team in the last stage.
And PDHM finished, I think, fourth or third or fourth, maybe?
They finished PDHM in stage 1 finished No, they finished 6th.
Wow.
PDHM finished 6th, so it's a much needed boost right now to their play, and I wonder how much of that is involved with default coming out of the squad or just changing up their play style, letting them run free. Here we see the replays. Headless being able to clutch out a lot of the rounds. Now that round with the trade was a bit unlucky for the attackers, and this is round 2 where Honor was able to win off of a Wolfseize 4K. Unfortunately, that was not enough for the rest of the game, especially this round. 2v4. LSG crouch walking up, very sneaky. Would have shut down 2, and then Headless there for the cleanup. And then, of course, in this round, Headless there for the cleanup. There it is. And then in this round, it was Headless there for the cleanup. Headless and default, more like. But there were so many drop rounds from Honor.
Absolutely.
So many just hero plays from PDHM. And we say, hero plays are not something that you can really rely on. This is one of those very rare instances where it pretty much won them the map.
Yeah, I mean, 3 rounds were given to PDHM because Honor peaked Headless. I mean, they reverted back to the default Canada of let's just swing.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to count the rounds, it was a 2v4 from LSG and Headless. Headless with a 3K pushing down Laundry. Headless getting the last 2 kills in the final 20 seconds on Laundry. And if we switch sides, it's default with a 3K and Attic. Default with another 3K inside of Freezer. So many, 5 rounds. 5 rounds of that game. Down to a big play by 1 player. So, Honor definitely struggling with just playing together, playing for the trade. They're dropping a lot of trades, not pushing as coherently as we're used to them being, especially Pox having a very slow game, getting picked off, what was it, 4 times in a row?
Yeah.
Being the first death. So hopefully Honor have a better showing on their own map.
Yeah, I definitely think, I think thinking of Clubhouse's map in general, it's not as kill heavy as we see Oregon has been. But before we go ahead and get into Clubhouse, we are going to take a very short break as we get ready for that second map. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to Honor versus PDHM. We have just finished up map 1 on Oregon. PDHM taking a very dominant 7-3 after early on seeming like they were going to struggle a little bit. Honor pulling up 2 rounds.
Well, Headless and Default taking a very dominant 7.
That's fair. That's definitely
with the
fair.
numbers they put up. It was Headless and Default kind of against the world there, but Honor was getting too aggressive towards the ends of rounds. They were not pushing with much a semblance of anything. Difference between Honor was playing or pushing their attacks without much semblance of structure. PDHM were doing the same thing, except Honor didn't have Headless popping off. That was the main difference. Both of the team's attacks didn't look very structured. They were really confusing. There was not a lot of drone work going on, not a lot of intel gathering, a lot of just like walking around the map, roam clearing by face checking everything, checking angles. But when stuff got dirty, Headless was there to clutch out the rounds, and on defense, it was the same thing for Default. Default got several 3Ks, was able to hold out key positions of the map and just shut down the push single-handedly. So
yeah, I mean he was a very both of them were very key parts of that win from PDHM. But now map one is over. PDHM have won that. Now we move on to map number 2 of Clubhouse. Map 1 was actually PDHM's map pick, so makes sense. Maybe they pulled out a little bit more dominant on that. Maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable on that map. Now we move on to Clubhouse. This is Honor's map pick. PDHM get to start on defense. I'm interested to see the way that this goes. Oregon, we've seen, has become, it's less of a very strategy dependent map, and it's more, hey, I click the most heads, which is definitely what happened with Headless and Default.
I think it can be a really strat heavy map. It depends on the team's playing.
I mean,
either way. I think typically when it comes to like pro scene, it's a little more strat heavy, but these teams rely a lot on Honor is structured, but they also rely on people going huge box and stuff. PDHM are a very aggro team. They just kind of have that style of Oregon played out, where you just one angle push through doorways and
So yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm just very interested in the way this goes, because Clubhouse leans a little bit more towards the strat side of things, but not. I mean, it's still hard to tell with these teams, like you were saying, because in the pro scene, these maps tend to lean a little bit more towards. There are maps that lean more towards strats, but as you get a little bit down towards the semi-pro level, down in tier 2, maybe it doesn't depend as much on strats. And here we are going ahead, moving in to map number 2 of Clubhouse. As I said before, PDHM will be starting on defense, so they will get to take off the first operator. Who are you expecting them to ban first? Thatcher. Yep, I can agree with that. I'm expecting. I don't know who will take it. I'm saying Thatcher and Maverick as our probably 2 attacking bans. Same as last time. I say we probably see Mira Wamai again. I think we see the exact same operator bans as last time.
That would make sense.
I think we see the same operator bans as last time.
If there's any deviation here, it might be Capitao instead of Maverick. It will be.
As you say that, yep, you called it perfectly. Yeah, so Capitao going to be banned out. So actually, I think Mira, you could take or leave Mira. I think you might actually see Honor take care of Maestro here as a possibility. No, they will take care of Cade so that they don't have to deal with those Electro Claws, which I'm not sure. PDHM, on Oregon at least, did not utilize them as much as Honor did. Now, and this was also Honor's map pick, so them mute. So those are some interesting. I think Cade is not necessarily as kind of out there, as Mute is. Mute feels a little bit more out there in terms of defense bans. I was more expecting kind of the Maestro Mira era, or maybe even a Wamai. I think definitely a Wamai. Not seeing a Wamai band is going to be interesting, seeing if PDHM is going to utilize the fact that he is still open. They are definitely going to be utilizing the fact that Maestro is open, and as they head down to Church Arsenal.
Yeah, and it's going to be both Hibana and Maverick coming out from Honor. So the reason why you ban Kaid, even though Thatcher is already taken off the board, is solely for bottom floor attacks. Because once it comes down to it, you know, you don't want to have to deal with Kais on the hatches because that is a very hatch-centric site. Um, Opening kitchen hatch, a little bit difficult without a Hibana. Don't want to be Maverick tricking kitchen hatch at all. And if for some reason the defenders aren't impact tricking it, you still got a Hibana charge left. You might as well use it either on the church wall or you can use it on the Moto hatch, and the Moto hatch being the main, you know, kite trickable quote unquote hatch, especially with Thatcher and, you know, just using a Hibana on it. Of course, they will bring the Maverick anyway because Maverick always helps. So Ace falling by the wayside, which is definitely interesting, but we will probably see Ace for all the cash attacks, I would presume, because he's kind of taken up that hard breach roll because smokes are so useful on that site. But the mute ban is interesting, and I wonder if PDHM, if you know, they know Honor likes to roam a lot on Clubhouse, like maybe going for like a lot of church roams, not having a mute, definitely something that's going to impede your ability to do that. You know, mute is really good on Ash too for just completely locking up any intel on the site or in Raptors. So I like the ban from PDHM.
Yeah, I think it's kind of out there in terms of how much you see it. But it is definitely, I can definitely see the logic behind it, like you were saying. But it looks like the Maverick here, instead of going for the hatches, is going to be heading for the construction entrance, as they don't really need Maverick for these hatches. I mean, pretty much Hibana can take care of most of this so long as she's careful of those impact tricks, because those impact tricks are the only thing that they have to stop these hard breachers. That is the only thing they have, because they have no breach denial whatsoever. Because really on this site, the only breach denial you could possibly bring is Mute and Cade. And both of those have been banned out.
It was definitely interesting. Valkyrie, who we usually see playing West Armory with a C4, is actually bringing a shield. Just for an extra shield, I guess. And there's still, there we go. That might be a little bit of a return to form. Prodigy on PDHM will get the first frag of the map, and it is not only on Pox, it's on Maverick. That's a pretty big pick, especially if PDHM are able to waste enough of the X-Kairos. All Maverick has done so far is open blue and open the dirt tunnel, and Maple's only got one more X-Kairos charge to use, so that is a great pick, especially because now as well, Envision has already used all his nades. There's no more nades on the board for Honor.
Yeah, it's not looking good in terms of utility on the side of Honor. I mean, Maple, as you said, is the only one left with flashes here. They potentially have Wolfsies with those stun nades that he can use to burn out any more ADS as tack as well. If you really wanted to, you could use those Ash charges.
Wav's not droned. The drone didn't go around the corner. I think Tack just dropped it down the Moto hatch, and yeah, he's gonna drop Moto. He's got no clue Wav is there, and Wav will fight. It's a 5v3 now because of a missed drone from Tack. Now, advantage all in PDHM's favor. 35 seconds left. Honor are still on the top floor fishing for picks. In fact, Envision and Maple over by above main. Wolfsy's pushing Secret Hall all by himself. He's the only man in blue. While Honor try to push, I guess, through Moto hatch. Envision separating over towards main stairs, but no! Wav is still covering Moto. He'll get the frag. Envision down on main stairs. It's Wolfsy's all alone, and Headless finds the last kill. A brilliant, flawless round from PDHM.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is... we're still this is kind of the floundering, kind of not knowing how to handle PDHM and how they're playing this that we saw on the last map. It's transferred over. I mean, I was hoping to see maybe Honor could give themselves a little bit of a refresher between the two maps and just give themselves a little bit more breathing room. Now it's like, okay, we're on our map pick now. We've gotten past that map. It was their map. They're playing it very aggressive on that map. Now let's give ourselves a new chance. But I mean, it still feels like Honor just doesn't know what to do. I mean, there's misplays left and right that they really shouldn't be making.
Biggest thing in my mind that round was the Jaeger of Wav. Just chilling by Moto hatch, undroned, got one pick, played in the main hall for Christ's sake, and just waited for the next player to drop. And they had no info on him. Wav getting that huge 2K. From there, you know, Pac was already dead. And the last two attackers, one's in blue, one's in main. What are they gonna do against 4 players? You know, or against 5 players. There's really not much unless PDHM just give them all the 1v1s they need, and if there's any reoccurring theme, it's that Honor are the ones seeking the 1v1s, and PDHM do not give it to them. PDHM, if
Absolutely.
anything, have the greater ability to isolate those gunfights, and judging from the last map as well, have a higher proponency to be winning those 1v1s as well. So PDHM will now opt to go cash, so secondary side obviously coming out. No Cade, of course, he is banned, so it's just the Bandit. And Bandit tricks, pretty easy to flush out, especially if you got the Maverick Hawks, who hopefully this round not die first.
Yeah, and also clearing out that wall with the sledge there is going to make it a little bit easier there for Pox to be as efficient as he can be. And they're going to immediately go ahead and take care of that entire first top half. Just go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup work, and if Default plays this right, he could potentially get a kill on the Maverick here, and that would shut down everything. And oh, there's Pox not playing that as carefully as he should have, and that is their entire hopes of hard breaching that wall out. Unless they can sneak a nade up there and time it right with Maple, there's no way they're making it in through that wall.
Again, Pox is the first death on Maverick. All operating.
Yeah,
it's Maverick.
It is.
It's
once again, yeah.
Default to get that kill, right?
Yeah, Default got that kill.
The Bandit who's getting flushed out, was able to find that pick. WAV is still on a disjointed roam from the defense too, and I mean, you've still got Bandit batteries on the construction wall. You've still got Bandit batteries on the main wall. All you've got is a Hibana, so you're probably just going to use all of those, I would imagine, over towards the construction side. Because Wamai is left up, Wamai is going to be sitting there inside of garage just holding firm, and I mean, there's really not a lot you can do. If your only push is coming from construction, it's wholly one-dimensional. It's paper.
It is, but we've seen it work before. We absolutely have seen it work before, and with the Hibana, I think it's definitely possible they are going to have to worry a lot about this Bandit here. If Default plays things right, he could potentially...
Oh, no.
Stove. Oh, Stove can do something absolutely nasty. But if they play this right and they take care of this Bandit, they can do well. But that was what we were expecting from Stove. He takes down Wolfseas, and that is your Sophia down, and Vision gonna fall as well to Headless there. And it's now a 5v2 Tack, and Maple the only two left. And there's LSG just gonna go ahead and shut down Tack. It's all up to Maple here. He finds one onto LSG, but it's not gonna be enough as Headless finds the last kill. PDHM take round number 2.
That just came down to Maverick being dead first again.
Yep.
Last round, it really impeded them because they couldn't do anything about the church wall, and they couldn't do anything about the Jaeger just playing in Moto. This round, they couldn't do anything about the server wall. All tried to push construction in the server window, I guess, and it didn't work. Because yet again, just like I said, that is a paper-thin attack.
Absolutely.
One-dimensional. Defenders know exactly where to point their guns. You're fighting the Alda, the SMG-11 on bullet holes, the AUG. You're just not going to use it. Honor just walked right into the line of fire, and they couldn't do anything.
Yeah, the only way that a construction pushes work is you have to have control of either garage or red stairs. Because if you have control of those, you have then, as like you're talking about, it's a one-dimensional push. You push it over to a two-dimensional push. You have two angles that you're trying to stretch. You're trying to stretch the attention of the defenders as much as you can, because at that point then, they have to cover more. Their control is not as hard as it was before. So I'm worried that Honor is almost suffering from the exact same thing we saw PDHM suffering for in the very beginning of Oregon. They have no way to deal with hard breach denial. They did not bring the Cali when the Cali was available. Cali is still up and available. You could absolutely still bring her and add to the amount that you have to get rid of these bandit batteries. You have nades, you have Zophias, but they've got a Jaeger on that side. They could very easily deal with every single one of those. They would have to dedicate just about every single ADS, but I mean, it would be worth it to deny the hard breach entirely. And if Pox once again is the first one to die, it's going to be near impossible for Honor to take that wall. Even if they're able to clear off that bandit, you've got the Mira sitting behind in bathroom, so Pox is incredibly key in this strategy for Honor.
Yeah, just like he was the previous 2 times. Did he do anything? Nope. He died first both times, so hopefully Pox has worked on his survivability. As first things foremost, it looks like he's going to go ahead and open the single panel construction wall
But not
a
entirely.
little bit. I guess you can.
I think what that's for is maybe a repel angle, or maybe to try and draw their attention away or something. I'm not entirely sure, but there's one of the bandit batters going to be taken off by that ash charge, but defaults is there going to be very quick to replace it. But now they have control of the hallway with that castle barricade gone, so they are going to be able to get that wall open if they really want to. But there is Stove going to very quickly shut down Envision with the SMG-11.
Another great shot by Stove. The smoke popping off, and now Pox working his way on the jacuzzi wall. His next point of contact will be the mirror window in bathroom, with Headless playing behind it. Very tough position to try and clear. Now the bathroom floor is destructible from below, but Stove will get his second onto Wolfseas, holding on to the balcony actually, as Wolfseas, unfortunately, that's advantageous fight for the attacker, but Stove just firing over will win the fight. And a perfect arc on the C4. LSG will at least get traded out by Maple, but still, it's a 2 versus 3 now, as Default swinging main stairs is taken out. Headless will win the fight through the gas canister, though, on the box, and there's WAV to finish things off. PDHM will continue their streak of dominance. It's 3 in a row on Clubhouse and a perfect site rotate.
Yeah, that was all in the hands of Stove right there. That was all in the hands of Stove. Getting those 2 kills outside of gym window, you cut off a big part of control that they have. You allow the Mira to rotate out and cover stairs. I mean, those 2 kills by Stove were honestly what turned the round in favor of PDHM, because Honor, up until then, they were making good progress. They had the control they needed. They got the wall open. They were doing everything right up until Stove started getting kills outside of gym window. If they needed to find a way to take out Stove, because after Envision was killed, Wolfseas needed to move, because Wolfseas didn't move after Envision was killed outside the same window. He stayed sitting outside of there. He didn't try to get a different position. He didn't try to figure out a way to flush out Stove. He just sat right there. I mean, there was a big change that needed to happen there on the side of Honor that just didn't, and it's what, in my opinion, really turned the round in their favor.
It also, what I thought was curious is when it comes to the jacuzzi wall, usually you have a thermite or an ace, you open kind of center. When you just got the Maverick, kind of open off maybe towards center right. They opened far left.
Yeah, it was.
I don't really know why, because you can't get an angle on main stairs. You can't get an angle on main stairs. Your angle to logistics is limited. You're at a 90-degree angle against the main door. All you can see is the mirror window. You can barely even see the you can barely even see the rotate.
And for those of you wondering, everything is fine. We're just refreshing our clean feed to make sure that it's the best quality for you all. So it'll be back in just a second. And as I say that, here it is, back at it.
Yeah, and the Mira was able to just play behind it perfectly, because that's such a tight angle, you're really restricting your movement while peeking that too. That's why that player outside the breach got caught. There was no cache clear either, for whatever reason. Honor just felt like they didn't have to clear cache and push from construction, especially against a Mira setup. If you're against a Mira setup, you really got to push multiple directions. They didn't. So Headless could just play behind the Mira, and locking off main stairs is not a task.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's when it goes back to what I was saying, that those balcony kills really helped PDHM, because Wolfseas and Envision were cutting off that rotate out of bathroom to prevent the hold onto main stairs. But after they were killed by Stove, there was no watch over that. There was no control being held over that. He was able to rotate around, kill Pox, and end the round.
So, see if Honor are going to have a slightly better attack here, as Pox is now on Hibana, Maple on Ace. So a little bit swap of the hard breach, so they know there's no Kai's. They don't really necessarily need to take the Maverick, though. Default is sticking the Bandit, so he'll be able to deny a lot of that hard breaching on the church wall if that's where he decides to put his utility.
Wow.
But he just kind of waltzes over to the main stairs, and Tack is there to catch him. That was a little bit confusing, but Honor will continue to break up above Kitchen. They've got people inside of blue, and it seems to be a slightly more well put together attack.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, Tack just laid there. I mean, he literally just laid there, and Default just walked right into him. Um, yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's interesting. So,
with the way that round was going, with Default being the first pick, the positions Honor had, right? It
mhm,
was Tack by main, Sludge is upstairs, Zofia is in secret, Hibana setting up for the Moto push, and then Ace was whatever. Ace is wherever. Because I mean, they have an ace. They're probably going for a church wall push, and
mhm,
because Default's already dead, if they clear the bandit batteries, there's nothing that the defense can do about it after that. I would imagine they'd be coming in with the advantage, as unfortunately our clean feed is frozen, but we can see that Wav is dead, and Zofia now has control of blue.
mhm,
So far, so good. Looking for Honor. Now that blue has been taken, as long as Zofia can hold behind Generator, the ace can go to the church wall. Of course, after Sledge nades above it, they can go for the wall, get that plant behind black box. You have the cross inside of church because of the Zofia. You have guys pushing in Moto to just double up on the double door. Um,
mhm.
so unless Honor throw the round away, they should have it.
Yeah, they have pretty good positioning, but what we've seen though from Honor, which is kind of worrying to me, is that when it comes down to it, Honor has been struggling to execute. PDHM has the aggression, they have the gun skill to really outdo Honor when it comes down to those key crucial moments, and I think that's where Honor is like. I mean, PDHM have really upped their game since we've seen them last. I mean, as you said, they finished 6th during last stage, and now we're seeing them play up against the last stage champions in the first place match to decide who goes up against the winner of the Group B match to determine who will get a chance to be in Canadian Pro League.
Yeah, of course the B match being Oblivion versus who was it?
Oblivion versus Oceanus.
Oblivion versus Oceanus, which I
Yeah.
think is also a rematch.
Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
Oblivion, yeah, last time Oblivion took it 2-0. I don't know what the match score was, but it was a 2-0 nonetheless. But of course, Oceanus looked pretty decent. Oblivion also looked good. Hopefully that's also a game later in the day. Of course, we still have to get through this one. Our apologies again. We're just having a bit of an issue with our clean feed. At the moment, it keeps buffering. Our producer's trying to, refresh it and get our observer and stuff and the clean feed and everything sorted. So hopefully we can be back soon, but for now we can only speculate how that round went. I'm gonna again assume it was an Honor win.
Yeah, from the way things were looking, it was leading in the favor of Honor. But once again, as I said, and just moving back to it, I really want to see Honor start work. So if just thinking about Honor in the future, I want to see them work on their, especially on attack, I want to see them work on their executes, because they have, what we've seen consistently is they can get the map presence down, they can start getting things set up, they have the structure there, they absolutely have the structure there, and that goes back to what you were saying about them being a very structured team. But when it comes down to those crucial moments, you have they can't perform against star players, and you've got Stove, you've got Defaults, you've got Headless, all of them just fragging out of their minds, and there is really no one on Honor that is stepping up to the plate and being that entry, being that fragger that team needs. Because really, that is what that team needs right now, is a good, solid fragger, which they just don't have a very consistent one right now.
Yeah, last map it was Wolfsies. Wolfsies was 13-7 to match Default's 13-7, and just one death worse than Atlas's 13-6. But it wasn't enough. He was really the only one, where you have a pair of duo going 13 kills. Only one on Honor, and no one else really stepping up to help him. It's not really great. This map so far, the kill leader was Maple with 2, followed by Pox with 1. Everyone else with 0. I think Wolfsies just got his first. And Tack got another. So Tack and Wolfsies are off the donut, and Vision's still on the donut. It's still a pretty poor kill spread, of course, across 4 rounds as well. I mean, 4 rounds and you only had, or 3 rounds and you only had 3 kills. It's not great. It's not great at all. And even if Honor take this church attack, right, it's still 3-1. They need one more round. And now Cash unlocks again. After PDHM win Cash, then go to either of the other 2 bomb sites, which they have already won. So, I mean, unless we see some kind of drastic change from Honor after this round and they keep the ball rolling, I think we're going to see a 5-1 half from PDHM. Unless we see something drastically different from Honor. Of course, again, apologies. Our clean feed is busted, so all we can do is speculate.
Yeah, unfortunately. So let's talk. So let's say theoretically Honor do take this. This is their map pick. Let's say they follow suit with what PDHM did during map number 1. They take this map. I mean, PDHM have been rolling, but so were Honor during the very beginning of the first map. So say Honor take this map. We move on over to Cafe. And thinking about what we've seen from both teams, I would honestly predict we head to map 3. I think PDHM takes it.
Yeah.
I think outright PDHM takes it.
I agree.
They have just Cafe falls a little bit more into, it doesn't matter what level you're at, that aggression is very, very key on Cafe. Yeah, there's some strategy involved, but aggression and getting kills is what has the most weight, especially at this level of play. So yeah, I definitely think that PDHM would take that, and I'm also going to give my personal prediction for the Group B match. We'll see that as our next match, but I think Oblivion takes it. I think Oblivion takes that match, and I think we see a PDHM Oblivion Canadian Challenger League final.
Well, I mean, that would make sense. If PDHM win here, then the only other finalist still in the tournament is Oblivion. And a score update for you all. It is currently 4-1 in PDHM's favor. So I'm assuming Honor took that round, and PDHM just went back to one of their main sites and took it back immediately. So I think 5-1 half is in the books. Of course, still trying to fix the clean feed. Sure, we can't get it back up until everything's fixed. And in fact, we are actually re-hosting the match so we can switch observers. Turns out, like I said, the problem has been isolated, and the only way you can fix it is by switching observers. I'm not sure who's going to be coming in, but as soon as we have them all set up with the game, set up with the lobby, all the players in the game, all the score figured out, hopefully we can get back into it.
Yeah. But until then, you're stuck with us, unfortunately. And we can just continue talking about this. But actually, you won't be stuck with us, because we're going to toss it to a short break as we get everything set up.
I think we milked everything we could.
Yeah, we've milked everything that we can at this point. We'll throw it to a quick break. We'll be back as soon as everything is fixed. It shouldn't take more than just, I'd say, 5-10 minutes maybe. We will be right back.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
Nice.
All right,
We're
we are
back.
back. Yeah, apologies for that, everyone. As we all know, we're having to do things a little bit differently. I mean, things are at home. We know everything can't be exactly consistent, so we switched our observers to make sure that we're bringing the best broadcast quality to you. And we are now back into it. Thank you all so much for being patient with us as well. We know it's hard just to sit and stare at us, sit and stare at a waiting screen, but yeah, we're back into it, and we're going to get back into it. We missed a couple of rounds, unfortunately, but it is now 4-2 PDHM. Honor was able to pick up a couple of rounds, but PDHM is still up on top after the defensive half, and they will now be starting off on attack as Honor will be taking it to Security Cache as their first defensive site.
Yeah, so unfortunately we couldn't see the last two rounds. It was 3-0 when we left off. Honor had a really good start on that church defense on round 4, ended up winning it. DHM took the next round back 4-1, and Honor took the last attack of the half. So, although it was started with a 3-0 for PDHM, Honor are at least able to salvage 2 rounds and really reach, the minimum quota to keep themselves in this game. And now they'll be on their defense. They'll start on Cache, of course. Wamai being brought. Actually, pretty much, I think Honor running the exact same lineup, if I'm not mistaken, that PDHM was on their Cache defense. And PDHM, of course, running the Maverick, but also doing with the Ace instead of the Honor. So a little bit more flexible. And of course, shoving that bandit off the wall, pretty easy task for default, as long as he has, a better survivability rating than Pox did on his Maverick.
Yeah, Pox was definitely struggling, but I mean, he did show up a little bit more during this match, especially since last match, and I'm guessing that's part of why Honor was able to pick up a couple of rounds, because I noted that Pox Pox getting taken out during those first 2 rounds is why PDHM was able to take it, but they had no really solid definitive hard breaches they could use in order to win it. So Default looks like he's being a little bit more careful with opening this up because he was he had a Pox had a very difficult time, was unfortunately killed on this exact same opening, but they were able to. Yeah, it was Default, but they were able to successfully Maverick trick it and open it up with Zofia. So now they have control of security. Tack is going to be holding that from the top of metal stairs, and Vision going to be holding it from the top of rafters. So despite them not being in the room, they still have some pretty good control of it. Wolfsies as well is going to be holding that window, looking out over towards construction.
Also pretty decently quick Maverick trick too. I think it only took like a minute 10 for them to completely get the wall open. So great job by Default doing quick work with it. Though LSG has lost both of his impacts trying to clear a shield or a Maestro cam, whichever one it was, because unfortunately he did not check for the little Mice first. Now Wolfsies will get the first pick on the Stove. I'm not sure where Stove was exactly, but he'll go down nonetheless. So an excellent first frag for the Bandit. You know, Stove has slow map 1. He's starting to heat up here on Clubhouse, but will not have any effect in this round. Smokes go down on the construction wall.
Yeah, because it looks like despite the fact that PDHM has solid control over the CCTV wall, they're making a construction push, which is interesting.
Well, they have the guys sitting outside of the breach to cut off the rotates, and then they're going to try and do like the sight pinch. With LSG picking off Maple, that'll put things back in PDHM's favor a little bit. I mean, because you take out the smoke, and all you've done is trade out the ash. So good job there as WAV will go on his. Again, the patent pending Canadian Challenger League face check roam clear with no drones. He's kind of wandering around, and because of that, he'll die to the guy in secret. Pox takes him down very easily by the easiest kill of Pox's career. Now 4 versus 3, and here comes the rush into sight. Default is just in the middle of Clash, and I'm not sure if the defense knows. He's gonna vault the shield? What are you doing?
What?
Wolfsies is well able to kill the other guy in construction, and from the breach, Pox just swings him. Honor with round 7, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was Pox and Wolfsies just going off inside of CCTV because PDHM pushed them all at the exact same time. Just a quick heads up, the observer is fixing up a couple of settings real quick. Everything is fine. Just making sure that it looks the best for you all. Once again, it's why we changed observers, and we're just doing this to make sure that we can just look the absolute best for you guys. Again, everything's at home right now. Everything is not the studio quality that we've been able to bring to you before. So just a couple little hiccups here, and these are all getting ironed out, and we're working on the fly as much as we can. But so far, Honor are starting to push themselves back. I mean, this is kind of what I was expecting. I mean, despite the fact that PDHM took a really nice 4-2 half on their defense, Honor are looking a bit stronger. They aren't really flopping around like they were on map 1. I mean, they were really struggling on map 1.
Yeah, they were really struggling to find their footing, especially because it was a 2-0 for Honor, and then PDHM won 6 rounds in a row.
Hey, wake up.
So PDHM will have no luck with their streak this time. All they've been able to put together was those initial 3 rounds before Honor were able to take some back. So we'll see if Honor are able to make magic happen yet again on Church, as that push from PDHM was really confusing. One guy died. I don't know where the Ash was when she died. I think she was downstairs. WAV tried to get the refrag or by secret, had no drones, no intel, so he died as well. The guy outside the breach got swung on. For some reason, Default, although he had the cash presence because of the construction push, his support died, and he decided that his best course of action was to vault the shield in the server.
Yeah.
That was a very confusing attack for me. Honor were able to easily lock it out as we're back in it, and 2.5 minutes left in the round. Ox and Tack are already at half HP.
Yeah,
wait, Default is already in stage.
Yeah, Default's in stage.
And he already has a kill. What the hell?
Yeah, Pox just peeked up at the wrong time there, and Default just took his head off right then and there. LSG gonna go ahead and go for the hatch. They're playing this very aggressively. They're trying to hold out as long as they can, and it looks like despite the impacts coming out, they were able to take down all but 1 of those Hibana charges, so that is going to leave 5 of them up. But once again, the impacts coming out, they're gonna waste all 3 of the Hibana charges, and they're only going to be able to get one hatch open now. I mean, they do still have Ace, but if Headless wants to get anything open, he's going to have to dedicate both of his charges.
Here's Wolfsies upstairs, still unabated on the vigil inside of logistics. He will continue to just roam up there because PDHM have not pressured him. You can see them holding angles. It looks like they know that something is amiss. Something is, as they say, rotten in the state of Denmark. But it's really gonna come down to timing for Wolfsies.
Yeah.
Minute 15 left. PDHM are setting up inside of Kitchen, setting up inside of Blue. If Wolfsies wants to make his move, it's going to have to be before the attackers collapse onto site, completely rip it away from the anchors. It's going to be very difficult timing for him. The more he kind of lulls about upstairs, the worse it's going to be. And in fact, he tries to go for the heads-up play. He tries to go for the impact from above. Stove is quick on the reaction. He's able to find the pick, and Vision as well inside of Generator goes down. And all of a sudden, everyone on Honor is falling. It's a 2 versus 5. Maple there with a swing over by the blue door. Nobody watching him. Another one as he finds the player dropping the hatch. All of a sudden, it's a 2v2. Maple with a massive triple kill to put his team back in the round, and a C4 to boot. It's all up to LSG. He's got to find these next 2 picks, and he can't see. Maple, a 4K from the Malusi, and Honor put themselves back in this match.
Wow. Maple just he sat in one place right behind box 1 and just railed PDHM as they tried to enter that site. A double kill, a kill from the hatch, and the second kill comes out, and oh my gosh, Maple, that was perfect play from him right there. And as you said, Honor are back in this match now. They've tied it up 4-4. I mean, they can very easily take this back. 3 rounds, they've taken this. We head to map number 3. 2 rounds, they put it up to a 6-6. I mean, this can go to overtime, where Honor will also be starting on defense. That is another thing to mention, and so far, their defensive half has looked the most promising. They were able to pull back a couple of rounds on their attacking half. The last 3 rounds, they were able to pick up 2. But so far, this defense is looking a lot more promising than their attack did. I mean, this is looking so much better for Honor the further and further we go.
The last round, though, PDHM were set up really well.
They were.
That was... They had 2 players in blue. They had players in the kitchen. Someone down main. Biggest mistake in that round is both the players pushing Generator, peeking over towards Church. Allowed the easy swing from Maple. Unfortunately, the refrag from the player dropping kitchen hatch was not found. We can't rely on that. You know, if Maple doesn't go huge there, DHM win the round easily. 2v5. Back on Jim. Going to the tertiary as Honor have nearly won 3 rounds in a row to answer PDHM's initial start on their map as well. So OT, you know, if continue the trend of the 4-2 halves, is looking like it's in the books for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Honor just, they feel like a more cohesive team. And yeah, that last round banked a lot on the shoulders of Maple there, but I mean, even so, Honor felt like they had some solid presence on the map. PDHM, they have to do a little bit more than just their hard aggression that they've been doing, because that's what's really coming down to it.
Honor, a man inside of logistics. See, they have 2. Both the Kai, sorry, not the Kai. They have both the Castle as well as the Wamai. Let me back off in the box for now as Tack is duoed up inside of Cash. One thing that Honor didn't do, DHM looked to be setting up to do, is clearing that Cash side of things. When Honor tried to take Jim, it was very one-dimensional. They really only had one way in, whereas DHM are looking for that split push. Default, though, already pushing through. Knows there's a guy inside of bathrooms. They'll open the hole and that'll reveal that he's already pushed through the breach, but still, it's an important position for him to take very early and through the wall. Will take a lot of spam, and he's down to 20.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely hurt out Maple, the star player of last time. Default throwing those stuns over the wall there, try and flush out A1 sitting in bathroom. He's going to catch someone, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take out Envision quite yet. He's sitting there pretty entrenched inside bathroom here. Headless and Default look like they're trying to make this push. One sitting inside of office as well. That is Maple. And it looks like Wolfsies is going to take an engagement with Stove there.
Yeah, and already on main is default, so he can cut off the Logi rotate just by sitting there, and it's actually going to be Headless to find the first kill on Maple. Pox gets a refrag, so he'll shut down whoever was pushing over towards Cash, and Wolfsies tags on for another. Default will get the kill, though, hitting the prone, and Wolfsies goes down, and we're back to an even 3-3, as Pox will get picked up, but there's now 2 players over towards Cash, and he'll lose the fight to LSG. Things in the favor of PDHM, though, all players pretty low on HP, with the exception of Honor. Vision still very low. Okay, never mind. He's at 0 HP now. His default just kind of swings in, but Tak does have the Alda. If there's any gun that's going to clutch it out, it's him. His Evil Eye goes down, so he can no longer deny the plant, though. He's just going to have to swing the doorway and hope for the best. It's now a post-plant 3v1. Headless coming off of it with the AK-12. Will find the kill. PDHM will take round number 9, and they will reestablish their lead.
Yeah, no, this is Headless with the AK-12 that we saw back on map number 1, and that is probably going to be the biggest thing that's going to be scary to Honor right now, is if Headless is allowed to do Headless things, then Honor might struggle to pull this out. Because right now, Headless was honestly the thing that turned the match in favor of PDHM. He's allowed to do that again. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
LSG.
This is kind of the change we needed. Oh, Monty?
Yeah, LSG.
Cool.
LSG changing out the Hibana for a Monty.
So, the reason why you do that is because you can just kind of walk in. You don't really need Hibana to open up the garage wall. You got a Monty. Monty, you just walk up rafters, and there you go. That's the control established. There's nothing the guy in rafters can really do, because you don't have a Legion, and the smoke likely won't be in range to support with those toxic baits. So, we'll see how LSG decides to, and the rest of PDHM decides to play it. I imagine they will go for their standard push, only it'll be instead of server wall construction, like we saw both teams do, it'll likely be, I imagine it'll be server wall garage.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking server wall garage as well. I think that's probably what we're going to see. I'm interested in maybe they go for what they did last time, put a little bit of pressure on construction as well. And it looks like Honor is going for a similar setup to what they had before, not really changing anything up, still having Envision sitting there for the rafters control, but it is just Envision. Now it is Wamai. He can definitely hold off those nades from Wav, the flashes from Stove, and anything else that may come his way. That Monty is going to be very difficult, and he's going to require help from another member of Honor. If I were to guess, probably Maple. They really will take care of LSG here.
We'll see. I mean, there's not really much the Omai is going to be able to do about the Monty once the Monty starts to make his way up the rafters, and thus he will. He just wade through the barbed wire, as again, there's really nothing you can do about him, and his Headless will start to get his ace breaches down. It'll actually be one of them on the garage wall to help assist the Monty and have people come from below the Omai to try and catch him out while the Monty falls up. Intel. He's even pinging a player in the corner by the window, but Wolfsies will drop Stove. Stove, I believe, over by the server window, taking an ill-advised engagement. Now the attackers are down a man with a Monty on the board. We've essentially lost 2 guns at this point. That's not great, and as PDHM are continuing to try and pressure Lounge, this Monty is not making too many moves. In fact, the C4 comes out. It'll deal a lot of damage, but there's a shield in his way, and he's going to have to drop this shield and vault it if he wants to make his way through. But no, actually, he can sneak right by it. But Fox take out Default, trying to support the Monty, and he's able to avoid the nade as well, but he can't avoid the shot from Wav. Great shot, as now Rafters will fall in control of PDHM, but might be a little bit too late, because they are trailing in the man advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking good for PDHM. They needed a lot more presence behind this Monty if they really wanted it to work. Yeah, they needed to put a lot more pressure behind this Monty for it to work. They needed to do a lot more, but there's Wolfsies there to go ahead and shut down Wav, and that's the pressure behind the Monty just gone like that. And now Headless with the diffuser is going to go ahead and take.
Wait,
looked like he was taking down. Well, Envision is actually going to take down LSG on the Monty. It's all up to Headless, and there's nothing he can do. Despite Headless being who he is, it is just not enough. Wolfsies, the smokes, everything all combined. Honor takes that round, pushing it back up to a 5-5. This is the closest we have seen Honor and PDHM so far.
How did LSG get headshotted?
I am not sure. I think he dropped his shield and was trying to give some support to Headless there, because honestly, as you said, losing the Ash, you've lost 2 guns. They really only had 3 on the board. It made it very, very difficult for them. And so, I mean, he had to bring out his gun at that point, especially without having the diffuser in hands with the Monty, which I think that was a very strange decision on the side of PDHM to not let the Monty have the diffuser. I don't know. It was a series of misplays by PDHM there that ended up losing them that round.
Yeah, everyone around the Monty just kind of dying. So the basement once again for Honor, where they had won thanks to a 4K from Maple.
All in like 10 seconds as well. That was incredible.
He was just kind of whipping around everywhere, finding frags, especially the C4 from Pack to shut down that pressure from main and put it back into a wait. Put it into a 1v2 instead of a 2v2. C4s are great for 3 kills. In fact, I think that's Tack's only kill right now in the past 2 rounds. But PDHM, they had a brilliant setup on this site. And everything in their favor was the execute that really fell flat. They can fix their execute. They can be a little bit more coordinated when pushing blue. I don't think they're going to let that happen again, but of course they'll have to deal with these top floor roamers first, which they dealt with them by not dealing with them. Wolfseas kind of went for a heads-up play, and he lost the fight to Stove, and that's kind of what cleared them out. But it looks like PDHM this time are opting to press the issue.
Yeah, and already it looks like Headless is going to go ahead and dedicate all of his ace charges. He has no more breach now. Wow. So that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. There's Envision is taking quite a bit of damage. I'm not sure where that was. I think that might have been Default shooting one of his impacts out there, caught Envision in the leg there, taking a bit of damage off of him. So Pox is probably the next person they're going to have to deal with. Sitting up here in Rafters, he's the closest to Default, and I'm not sure they have any idea where he is. As you said, PDHM's way of dealing with the roamers was not dealing with them.
Yeah, he did pre-fire, or not pre-fire. He did have holes through the floor looking at the stock door that he fired through. PDHM knows someone's up there. Just whether or not they want to deal with it. Visual lines will mean that Wolfse's position is so far unknown. As I say that, there's the drone impacting the floor above to get an angle down on Bar, but he can't find anyone to pick. Default, though, will get picked himself, and Vision will find the first frag. This might be the church defense Honor need to take map point and send us to... Where are we going? Send us to Cafe.
Yeah. I mean, right now, PDHM are kind of struggling because the roamers have fallen back now, for the most part. Besides Wolfseas, I believe, is the only one who's not on site still. Everyone else is on site. They still have good control over site, and PDHM, they need to make some big moves if they want to go into the site. It looks like they have control of Kitchen Hatch, and they're trying to make the drop in, but Maple is sitting here once again. The flash is coming out, trying to allow them to push back in. He's going back into the famous box spot, waiting for this drop. And it looks like they have Wab there waiting inside of dirt to potentially counter this, and I'm not sure they know that he is there.
Well, they do now as Wab goes down to Maple. Maple starting things off hot again. It is a 3 versus 5 as PDHM still trying to take secret. Wolfseas will find a pick. Pox with another one. It's LSG. An ace clutch situation. Only 22 seconds left. He'll get one from dirt, but swiftly refragged by Maple. Honor with round 11, and they are on map point, 1 round away from sending us to map.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Honor have really kicked it back up. Now, this has been a much closer match than what we saw on Oregon, but Honor has really kicked things up a notch, and we're seeing them show up a lot more than we did on... I mean, map 1 was just an absolute trounce by PDHM. Honor just lost their footing and just fell flat on their back during that map, and they could not get back up. Here, they're really kicking and struggling here against PDHM, and when it comes down to it, PDHM are not able to just use their pure aggression that they were able to use on Oregon to win them these rounds.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like they really know how to cope with that. I mean, you saw them just kind of throwing things against the wall and seeing what would stick, sticking LSG on the Monty, seeing if that might help, seeing if that might even things out a little bit, and unfortunately it just did not. There were a couple of things. They did not have the pressure around the Monty that they needed. They did not have the control they needed because they focused so very hard on putting just the Monty. The Monty was everything. They didn't try and get control over server wall. They didn't try and get control over server window. They didn't try and get in control over red stairs. They didn't try and get in control over construction. It was just rafters. And that was it. And you've talked about it before, those one-dimensional pushes rarely, if ever, work out for the attack.
Yeah, something else too, though, we have to keep in mind is this is the attack PDHM 1. So we're looking at likely a 4-2 half for both sides and sending us into OT. It would be Honor to start on the defense as through the advantageous side so far. It would be 8-4 in terms of a total split should PDHM win this round. Of course, it was definitely down to a good play by Headless, getting the plant down in Jim, and the players in cash, defenders in cash really not having much of an effect on the round. You know, having a cash roam is great. Being able to hold on to cash until the latter end of the round is great. What's not great is when you fail to rotate when the rest of your anchors on the site itself are dying. So, that's kind of what happened last time, but Honor have opted to adjust. They will now bring a Mira, something that may have been sorely missed in the round prior.
Yeah, and already we see them taking control of Gym Window, and they're going to be able to very easily hard reach that wall. It's going to cause Envision to fall back, but he does have that mirror window in the perfect place to hold that down.
They didn't have any ADSs in Gym to burn.
They didn't have any ADSs
like,
in Gym
default
to burn
didn't
anything.
even check.
No.
Just sent the impact in, so he remains with all his stuns. Everyone still has all their utility. That's interesting from Honor. I wonder where all their, I mean, maybe all their ADSs are over towards, like, patch side and maybe one in bathroom. Oh, there's, wait, no, what? Did you see that? I think there's one behind the bomb chassis.
Huh.
I think we saw just from Envision's perspective.
Yeah, I think it may be just out of range to catch these. Envision gonna go ahead and throw down a battery at his feet, as both the stuns coming out from default there are not really gonna amount to much. Just gonna cause Envision to sit where he is. I mean, he's behind that mirror window. He has no pressure from anywhere else. He doesn't have to move anywhere. He can sit here. He can hold down Jacuzzi wall. I mean, they have to put in some pressure from Master Bedroom if they want to flush him out. And it looks like Wav is going to go ahead and get one in there, and it's going to do a little bit of damage to Envision, but no more nades on the board is going to mean they have no way to push him out of bathroom. He's just going to sit there, and with his battery, couldn't get the word out on the floor, and is going to keep them from throwing any ace charges, any Hibanas up there. And I mean, there's just really not much that they can do in this situation.
Wav really needed to cook that better because that alone could have flushed out Envision, but he'll hold on to the mirror window. I mean, the smoke is down, but he's still stopping the push. And Pox downstairs cuts Wav off on the window. LSG there finally with a refrag, but Headless taking some chip damage. It's still a 4v3 in the favor of Honor. Honor still have the mirror windows too. Castle holding on to this firm, stopping anyone from going into Gym. Headless looking like he's going to take the challenge, but he'll likely go down. Tack will get fragged out though. Headless, there we go. There's the mirror window coming into play. LSG pushing the doorway, finds one, but he's traded out. All of a sudden, it's all up to Stove, the power player. He'll take out one, but it's 0-0. He's got no time. Honor will take Jim. That's a good half. It was a very close map. 7-5 in the favor of Honor. We'll be heading on to Cafe for the decider.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And yeah, I mean, that was really good wasting time by Honor. I mean, Envision sitting there in bathroom. That was such a good play. I mean, he played that near perfectly. I mean, they did not have the resources to put any pressure on his back because they had that cash hold that you were talking about before. That usually you don't see a lot come of that cash hold unless they're making a split push. That cash hold was able to slow down the attackers a little bit, prevent them from putting a lot of pressure onto that bathroom, and they weren't able to make that push in Jacuzzi, and it just came down to 0-0s, and Honor were able to take it. So yeah, Honor, against all odds, despite just really, really struggling, even during the first half of this match, they were still struggling after that map 1 loss, pulled it back out of nowhere with, I believe, Yeah, that was 3 rounds in a row there, almost 4 rounds in a row at the very end. I mean, it was an incredible pullback by them, and they have shown that they're not out of this just yet, and that they may still deserve their title of first place Canadian Challenger League team.
Of course, it was a pretty defender-heavy map, but whereas PDHM could only string together a 4-2 half, Honor were able to take 5-1, surprisingly, on Jim, and PDHM in that very last round just looked like they didn't know how to deal with hero win.
Absolutely.
Really struggled. They couldn't get that bandit out of bathroom. I mean, what should normally be a pretty routine clear, right? I mean, okay, first of all, WAV did not cook the nade well.
Yeah, not at all.
The thing is, right, you don't really need to have to cook that nade either. If you can land it in the corner, if he sits in the shower or he goes to the other corner, he's going to be down no matter what, and you just wait for his rotate out the double door. Or, if you really want to nade him out, burn the ADSs, go to the breach, bank it off the hole where the mirror window is, and there you go.
Yeah.
The bandit can't escape. But he really misplayed that. The team as a whole really misplayed that last round. And though Stove was able to get the kill on the castle covering the Mira, who shut down the initial plant attempt. I don't know why Headless thought he could just kind of walk in under the watchful eye of the castle by the Mira. There was just no time left for Stove. So, good map from Honor. A lot of mistakes from both sides, though. Of course, unfortunately, we couldn't catch rounds 5 and 6, but
yeah,
definitely. Hopefully, we get a cleaner cafe.
I had the prediction during when we were having our very short observer rehost that if we were able to take it to map 3, I felt that we were going to have PDHM take it, but now I'm not so sure with how Honor played that. I'm almost willing to rescind my prediction. I'm willing to leave it to kind of an undecided to that. I'm really not sure now. There's doubt in my mind that with how Honor was playing and how they were able to shut down PDHM on those last rounds. I mean, it looked really, really good. So I'm excited to see map 3, and with that, we are going to take a very short break as we prepare for cafe. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. right, everyone, hello and welcome back. We are back now after map number 2. Honor have pulled themselves back from the brink after a devastating map 1, losing to PDHM 7-3, pull their way back, taking map number 2 on Clubhouse 7-5. We are heading now to Cafe, the decider. This map right here is going to tell us who is going to place first in Group A, and who will play to decide who will head to Canadian Pro League relegations. Crow, I'm excited. Before I said during our break that I thought PDHM was going to take it if we headed to Cafe. Now I'm not sure with how we saw Honor play on that last map. Heading to Cafe now, I'm honestly not sure which way it's gonna go. I really have no clue how this is gonna go, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm still kind of leaning the way of PDHM. I think with the way they were playing Oregon, which was both teams just kind of being like, all right, open a wall, push gunfights, and win. And the way they were playing Clubhouse, which is a lot more solidified in utility and strat and Honor, the more structured team. Cafe can come down to some monkey stuff. And
Yeah.
I still think when it comes to really just pushing gunfights and relying on that to carry you to victory, I still think PDHM have a slight advantage. Of course, this is still new territory for both these teams. So predictions in the wind, whatever, we'll have to see what happens in game. Of course, PDHM won the coin toss to decide who gets to pick their starting side, and they will, because they are not crazy, opt to start on defense.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen from PDHM so far is that starting on defense for them is what they need. They definitely seem to perform a little bit better on defense than they do attack. So if they want to take this, I think that's the right way to go. But if Honor continue the momentum that they had off of the last map, similar to the way PDHM kind of carried into the start of Clubhouse, then I think it might be a different story, and we might see Honor pull just a little bit further ahead.
Well, fans are in. Thatcher Maverick, very normal. Well, my Mira, even more normal. So, I don't really think that.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's touch on it a little. All right, Thatcher, obviously a very good ban, literally everywhere. Maverick just comboing with the Thatcher ban to make sure that Honor will either have to play a Kali, or they'll have to try and do some other indirect method of clearing the utility, like maybe bringing an IQ, which they aren't using, and dedicating nades over there. And because you have to dedicate nades over to the utility clear, that means you've got to clear the wall utility, you have less to clear the bulletproof utility, like shields, like Maestro Evil Eyes, like Goyo shields, like Banshees from Malusi, stuff like that. So to help alleviate a little bit of that stress, you ban the Wamai, take him off the board. Wamai is useful on literally every side of the map. He's one of the most universal operators nowadays with this meta, comboing with Jaeger very well. And Mira, of course, just a standard pretty much everywhere. So that's all we gotta really say about those standard bans. That it's gonna be PDHM starting on Kitchen, first things foremost.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about Mira being a comfort ban for good reason as well. I mean, you saw how powerful she was, especially during that last round on Clubhouse. Having those Mira windows, you had Castle and Bandit playing on those, and they're what really hinged the round in favor of Honor. So I think PDHM banning those out is not really too much of a surprise.
Pretty standard. What is not as standard is Web on an island alone, kind of just running around on the top floor, fishing for a kill.
Although he does have LSG.
And he does have LSG, so that's what the Ella is for, is just LSG wants to roam... LSG. Just wants to roam around with the Scorpion, take some heads-up gunfights, because if you're very close up to that Scorpion, doesn't matter what gun you have in your hand, unless you've got something like the SMG-11, you're probably gonna get melted, and here comes the roam clear from Honor. Of course, you know, melted being unaimed, not early in this game.
Mm-hmm. Not even in the same division.
Yeah. That would be cool, though. We could have, like, these teams against CA.
Oh, we're gonna see the drone.
Wow, that was quick. Wav already dead, but there's LSG. Find the refrag on Pock. So a Jaeger for an Ash, you know, name a better duo.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the drone coming down and the Ash coming in right afterwards, and I was like, this is...
Yeah, the Ash like just
see.
sprinted down white, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was interesting, especially that close behind the drone. I think if you want a drone leading, you want it at least maybe about a second or two ahead. That was maybe about a quarter of a second. The drone turns the corner, you can already see the toe of the Ash coming around the corner.
Yeah.
I think that was
like right there for the swing.
Yeah, that was a little bit too fast on the side of Pox. I think if he had given that just a little bit more time, he could have played that a lot better. I mean, it knows both WAV and LSG are down there. They knew at least one person was down there from their droning. They didn't know exactly LSG, WAV, wherever. But wow, Envision going to take that peek at exactly the wrong time. LSG going to light him up to right around 5 or 10 HP. Very, very low.
Yeah, Envision one bullet now from death, even from a very low damaging weapon such as the Scorpion. But LSG is going to start to get pinched. There's a player on Brown. He'll dispatch of the shield. And now with those players pushing from white as well, LSG is very exposed. Unfortunately for him, there's no one inside of Whiskey. No, there is. Never mind. That prone, I did not notice the silhouette. I thought the silhouette was inside of the site. Default holding onto the Brown stairs with that melee hole. I think they saw it. So I think Honor is aware of that. As Stove takes a lot of damage, you can hear the second gas canister ring out. Default still holding the angle. Oh, the player on Brown stairs exposes themselves just a little bit, but Default is patient. Trigger Discipline abounds, and pre-fire there from Wolfsies. Yeah, I believe they do know, but no, Default actually lives? Wolfsies whiffs the shot. He's now so low on HP, both him and Envision are worse for wear, and from upstairs, the Sledge hasn't really done much. In fact, LSG still in VIP, takes out Maple as he pushes through the smoke. Default finishes off Wolfsies on Brown. It's all up to Tack, and Envision make it just Tack as there's Default second. I don't even know where Tack is. He's still upstairs. He'll get headless, but time is up. PDHM with round number 1, thanks to a great duo hold in VIP and Whiskey.
Yeah, that roam starting out really trying to take as much time as they could from Honor, forcing them to clear that out. And I mean, forcing them even more. I mean, you had LSG just sitting inside of VIP, not moving, only swung out once to kill the ace that was pushing, and that was it. I mean, you just wasted as much time as you could. That was a fantastic play by PDHM there, and we're going to see them heading to Reading Fireplace as their second site, which is interesting. You don't, in my experience at least, I haven't seen a ton of cafe at this level of competition before. Typically, this is not your secondary site. You usually leave this as your third site. You'll either take bar as second or you take kitchen as second, depending on which one you go first. I haven't seen this as a secondary site that much, so
sometimes
it happens sometimes, but I personally have not seen it. So I'm interested to see what PDHM ends up doing with this, and if this works out for them, because
sometimes people even play reading as their primary. We've come to a new age of Siege where people will go gym first, they'll go dining kitchen on Villa first, they'll go reading first. So
yeah,
so it's still a good site.
But I think probably one of the biggest things that this hinges on is a nice, solid top floor hold. That is one of the big things that this site really, really hinges on. And without that, then if Honor is able to clear out this hold by PDHM, then it's going to be very difficult for them to win the round. But that also requires Honor being able to get to the site, because it looks like they've got 3 people playing upstairs, and if they play this right, Honor is going to have a very, very hard time dealing with them.
Something else we can highlight is that if your top floor hold is not as strong and you're playing for the early fall off, then what do you lean on? Well, you lean on Default on the Pulse, and Stove and Headless both with C4s as well. Because the way you try and counter out with this site is if you lose top floor, then the only thing that can save you is good counter to the attacker's vertical play, is obviously what the C4 players of PDHM are banking on. Now, Honor will hit the North Rappel, trying to take WAV out of this position inside of Cocktail. There's a drone in there too. WAV just pre-fires the barricade. He could probably find the head of Wolfsies, but of course he does not have the info. In fact, Wolfsies will soon have info on him. Knows that he's right by the barricade. Here's the pre-fire, but WAV is long gone. He's now scared of the run out. WAV actually dipping down the laundry hatch and even down to the first floor, playing even more disconnected roam, leaving no one on top. So that means PDHM, they're really going to rely on this Pulse. They're going to try and go ham with their explosives from below.
Yeah, and I think that's probably best if they can lull Honor into a false sense of security up here and then catch them off guard with the C4s, which there are 3 in the hands of PDHM that have not been used yet. 2 of them have mounted. There's going to be one from Stove is going to come out and is not going to catch anyone just yet. Headless going to throw one out as well, not going to connect either. And now Default is the only one in hand. 2 wasted C4s so far. That is not what you like to see.
I think PDHM definitely jumping the gun a little bit with their explosives, not waiting for the call from Default, and now it really relies on just him. And if he doesn't get a single C4 kill this round, then I would have definitely liked to see more investment upstairs, because you gave up upstairs because you were playing for those C4s and didn't really do anything with them. So, Honor are now thankful that there's less for them to worry about, and now there's no LSG for them to worry about. Smoke dead? That is a big pick for an Evasion. That is 30 seconds of delay no longer available to PDHM, and the man count advantage swinging in Honor's favor. They are stacking up inside of pillars. This looks like it's going to be a reading push, and as the smokes come down, it'll be Plant coming out, but no, it's stopped by the C4 of Default. Hawks will pick up the diffuser. He'll be the next man on the plant as WAV takes out Wolfseas. Oh no, the Malusi can't turn around in time. Default with another kill. The SMG-11 can't find his pick, but the knife does! Tack, what are you doing? But he can't get the pinch on the pulse. Default on the ground is able to just clutch out the round as he swings the planter. There's no cover, and he can't be killed from behind. PDHM somehow are able to take round number 2.
I am in shock because that was an explosive play by Honor. I'm having flashbacks to Oregon. The smoke plant in Laundry. I'm having deja vu here. This seems a very familiar situation that Honor have been in before. That was very unfortunate.
We know how that story ends too.
Yeah,
so hopefully Honor can turn that around. That was a very messy round. The fact that so the plant number 1 was denied. Okay, C4, whatever. Good job, Default. And then Default just kind of swings because the smoke grenade protects him as well. You know, it's kind of, you know, how Emzo always says, or always used to say, holes work both ways. So do smokes.
Yeah.
Smokes cover both sides of the equation. Default just took that as the opportunity to swing. Sure, his teammates were dying around him, but hey, 000, that's all you need. He just proned in the middle of the floor. Unfortunately, Tack, after that really messy engagement against the Mute, had no ammo left in the SMG-11, and that is the kicker. If he just had a couple more bullets, Default would have been dead. Nope, he whiffed, had to knife the Mute, couldn't find the kill. So, PDHM now up 2-0, but of course it is defense on Cafe. Yeah. Now as they rotate up to Bar, they will be on what is usually the first site, primary site, kind of tied with Kitchen in that respect. PDHM, I mean, they could take the 3-0 right here.
Yeah, they're definitely looking a lot better, and I mean, this goes back to what I was saying as well, is PDHM starting out on the attack is kind of what they need. They've looked consistently stronger when they've been, I said PDHM starting on the attack, PDHM on the defense. They look consistently stronger starting out on defense, and that's what they need. If they can get this going, if they can get the ball rolling, and if they can stall out Honor as much as they can, and that's going to be a good way to do it, as WAV will just run out Bakery Door and will shut down Pox so very early on. Not even a minute has passed, and man advantage already in the favor of PDHM.
That was Pox, I believe, rappelling up to the Christmas windows. That is a very common run out. Yep, you can see where his body is. It's very unfortunate for him, and a great seizing of the moment by WAV. Carpe diem, as they say.
Absolutely.
5 versus 4 to start. Lost Pox, which means you lose those breaching rounds. Now, of course, you do still have a nade on the side of Tack, and because there is no Wamai, PDHM are not exactly playing too heavy into the utility meta. WAV, though, peeking up over towards Newbauk, will nearly get his head taken off, and another player nearly gets his head taken off, but unfortunately, Envision just cannot connect with the shots. But for some reason, Default is gonna re-peek?
Why would you ever do that?
You literally peeked twice, and Envision is just holding down the trigger, and now you lost the man count. So, it's 4v4, and you lost a C4 for only the price of an ad. And that's your freezer play.
Yeah, it's your freezer player, and you lose any potential to Electroclock trick now. those charges are now static. If they want to take them out, all they have to do is just get an explosive in the right area. But that's the other thing, is there really aren't a lot of explosives left. They have Wolfsies, and that's pretty much it. Anything else they want to do is going to be very hard, but there's Envision going to thread the needle there and take out Headless, and unfortunately going to shoot through the smoke, and I think it may have accidentally downed Maple, but there's LSG with a shotgun going to take down Maple, finishing him off from inside of Freezer. Tack going to take down Wav as well. Tack actually going for the plant now. He sprays on into Bathroom. Wolfsies is almost going to catch LSG in there, but the plant has gone down. We are now in a post-plant situation here. Honor in the advantage, but Tack and Wolfsies are just breathe on them and they're dead. LSG takes down Tack, but Wolfsies very quickly reflags. It's all up to Stove here. Takes some shots back towards Freezer. Sees the head of Wolfsies, but it is not enough. And Honor take round number 3 slowly, going to take away that momentum from PDHM.
Okay.
That was a lot of re-peeking by PDHM that was not needed.
PDHM, so default re-peaks a bunch, for whatever reason. Dies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Envision threads the needle. It's funny you say they thread the needle, because that's what they were known as before they were Honor. Envision threads the needle onto the head of the guy in Cocktail. Cocktail pressure gone. It's just the Malusi there now. Okay. C4. Maple was actually down by a C4.
Mm-hmm.
C4 goes off. Gotta pick him up. LSG cannot confirm kill. Well, it confirms Maple, but he cannot get the planter. He cannot get Wolfsies. LSG just whiffing a lot of important shots. One more bullet on any of those players, LSG would have possibly denied the plant. At least taken out the all-important cover. Fortunately, it was not the Bathroom. PDHM just losing a lot of their really meaningful fights. So, good job by Honor. Turn that round on its head. They'll take their first attack. PDHM will be able to go back down to their comfort site on Kitchen.
Yeah. So they were able to take this pretty handedly on, basically on the backs of LSG and Default. They were the two main players, and what helped us, I mean, Default sitting over there, and Whiskey LSG just sitting inside of VIP, preventing the push over to the Freezer wall. And I think Honor might play a little bit more carefully rather than just trying to run in like they did last time. There was a lot of misstrength, like Pox, for example, on that push down White Stairs. He was basically stepping on the wheels of that drone as it came around the corner, was way too close to it to get any information from it.
Here's the roam again. Similar situation. There's the sledge opening the hatch. You see Pox was prepped for someone to play under it. Beat Wav. Wav will skate away, though. Now over towards Cocktail, grooving up with yet again the infamous LSG. So, continue. Oh, LSG with the SSG skin. LSSG. Here we go. And remember last time when Pox was just kind of sprinting behind a drone? If he doesn't go 1-for-1 there, I think they definitely have a much easier time taking the round, but Pox is going to go for the same white clear. And already, though, PDHM have dipped. Don't want to be too aggressive. You know, last round with their lockout on VIP and Whiskey, they had the round in the palm of their hand, and they don't want to lose that pressure too early. So LSG, or LSSG, decide he's just going to play it safe and hold on to VIP, which in the latter half of the last round, the last time the attackers tried to take the kitchen, became a very pivotal choke point to lock them out.
Yeah, I think part of also what helped them is actually that trade between Wav and Pox. Losing that Ash, I mean, you lost a bit of entry pressure. They became a little bit more wary. They worry more about the roamers and trying to clear them rather than trying to get this vertical pressure, which they are applying now. They have more people to watch the stairs up into the second floor, so they can focus a lot more on getting that pressure. So no kills may actually be that trade not being there may actually benefit Honor this time, but 54 seconds left. They are going to have to make a move here. They're going to have to get, I would say, a kill onto an anchor if they want to start this off in the right direction.
Last time they played Kitchen 2, Tak didn't really do anything with the vertical control until it was way too late and there was only like 5 seconds left. I think that's when the first kill from the vertical actually came down. So definitely we're looking at Tak maybe having a little bit more influence, finding a decent pick before it's too late. It might already be 25 seconds left. The attackers have not taken VIP. Default still persists inside of Whiskey. You're struggling yet again with this clear as Default pre-firing with the Alda. Of course, Wolfsies does not want to re-engage and he'll go back to the same melee holes he was holding before. Now LSG does not have the shield and here comes the push. They're just going to go right by VIP. LSG has no influence. Stove is dead. Thanks to Pox entering, Plant is going down from Maple. LSG needs to flank now. Tak with a kill onto Headless as well, but LSG is too late from above as Wolf sees Wav and Default get their own refrags, but it's just Wav in a 1v3 post Plant. A great adjustment by Honor. Instead of dealing with those players, they just skirt right past them. It's one kill onto Maple, back in a 1v2, but Tak and Wolfsies are both upstairs. One is on the hatch and one is likely controlling the vertical. He's getting lit up and eventually it'll be Tak to finish him off. Honor with round number 4 thanks to some brilliant vertical play and a great freezer rush.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good freezer rush, and they had, and again, it comes back to they had more time to set up that vertical control. They had the confidence because they hadn't had that trade yet. They were able to cover all their angles from moving up. They didn't have to worry about someone making that push. That was just overall, not having that trade was definitely in the benefit of Honor there. And now they have won 2 rounds in a row. They've tied it up, and again, I'm kind of feeling deja vu from map 1, except reversed. Honor won the very first 2 rounds on Oregon, and then slipped the rest of the way. PDHM have won the first 2 rounds here on Cafe, and have started slipping. I'm starting to feel a little bit of deja vu here, and now they're gonna head back up to Bar, rather than going down to Reading Library, the site they have actually won. They won Reading, or Reading Dining, my mistake. And I'm not sure why they're heading back up to Bar. I mean, they lost this site pretty definitively, if I remember correctly.
I think they could have definitely won this site if they didn't overextend and kind of peek. And if LSG hit his shots from inside of that. See if PDHM kind of adjusts their play style. They're taking, I think, pretty much the exact same operator lineup, if I'm not mistaken. LSG was on... I can't remember if he was on smoke or mute, but either way, his utility didn't really affect the round at all. Honor had a great clear last round. They had a great clear this round, too. Vision, specifically, with the first 2 kills, I think, on a Default, and then onto Headless over in Cocktail. Speaking of Headless, coming off of a really good first map, an okay second map, he's now struggling on Cafe.
Yeah, both of them are yeah, I mean, he's sitting down at 0-4 right now. Like that is a very stark contrast to the 13-6 that we saw on map 1. I mean, he came off on a heater, and again, I want to come back to it. He was part of the reason that map turned in the favor of PDHM. He was able to get those clutches multiple times. I mean, he was just on it, and he has just kind of he's come off of that high. He's come off of that adrenaline rush, and he's not been able to do quite as much. And I think PDHM are kind of struggling because of that now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame him for it. Of course,
no, I mean, you absolutely can't.
You're not supposed to rely on one guy going big like every single round for you to win. So it's understandable that Default is kind of falling off. It falls upon his team for putting him in those situations and not being able to win the rounds out by themselves. And Vision will go for this same little melee hole in the humidor to try and cut off anyone inside of Whiskey, as Tak will miss the first nade. Throws a second one, and there's the Evil Eye gone. So Default plant spot opened up as Pox will take a little bit of damage. But PDHM so far, the great adjustment they made is not giving away those 2 early picks. In fact, doing a lot of damage to Tak and Cigar.
Yeah, and I mean, this is very similar to the last round they were on Bar, but wow, Envision just standing out in the middle of the open, and Default just gonna swing right onto him, and one of your key players from the last round is gonna, or not from the last round, from the last time you attacked the site, is gonna go down. There's Default again, gonna go on a heater and take down Tak, gonna take quite a bit of damage in return, but not gonna be downed. It's a 5v3 in favor of PDHM. I think those 2 kills from Default are exactly what they needed to turn this round in their favor. Pac's going to drop down, not going to know where he's going to get shot from Headless. The Alda spraying its fire hose of bullets through the wall there. Default and Headless are holding this down, holding them out inside of Cigar here, but Wolfsy's able to take down WAV, slowly evening out the man count, still in favor of PDHM, though. 23 seconds left. They have to make a move here. They have to get a kill, but it looks like it's going to be Stove from below to take down Maple, and a second one as well. He's going to take down Pox. Default is down, though, and that is going to be it, as Headless takes down Wolfsy's. And PDHM have got their moxie back, and they are now 3-2, leading with a potential still for a 4-2 half.
Good job by Stove. We're going down below, using the holes from the breach on the bar wall to stop that plant attempt. Or I say below because I didn't see a silhouette, but it looked like by the tracers, kind of coming up diagonally. So that's where I'm going to assume Stove was. So good job to him for that heads up play, denying that push. Of course, Envision going down early and Default with a big 2-piece to open up the round. Again, you know, it's same thing, different side. Honor peaking and PDHM winning.
Yeah.
We're down to kitchen. And now PDHM are 1-1 on this site. First time they had an okay roam that went 1 for 1, then a VIP whiskey hold that held out for the rest of the round. This time, though, much better use of the vertical presence from Honor. And they were able to just kind of circumnavigate Ella SSG, who was inside of VIP, and the Maestro of Default inside of Whiskey. Now, LSG will hop off of the Ella, I think, figuring that, you know, he was just playing Ella for the gun, but didn't really have the opportunity to use said gun anyway, so instead he'll bring the Valkyrie, take a lot more intel for his team. No C4, because he wants to play with the shield, of course, that VIP's hold still being set up, but I think the extra intel is only going to aid.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. I mean, that's one of the things for PDHM that I have noticed pretty consistently. They don't go for any kind of intel. They don't drone. They don't really look through cameras. They don't play Valkyrie that often unless it's just for, you know, her gun and her C4. I mean, PDHM is playing into that just frag heavy, just all guns, and that's all we need sort of gameplay. I mean, face check. I mean, as you were saying, the trademark Canadian face check, roam clear, and now they're bringing intel. They're bringing an intel op, and they're actually utilizing her, which is interesting.
We'll see if Honor are able to deal with the counterintelligence from PDHM. Of course, WAV is still on that roam, and there we go. LSG on the top floor. Tack goes down, and probably the most influential player of the last round, blocking the defenders on their rotates from above and getting that destruction. Tack no longer available. No more nades either. No more sledge. No more entry.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely gonna hurt Honor. Especially not. I mean, that vertical presence was so powerful on this site. I mean, that was what really won them that last round on this site, was having that vertical presence. Wow. And a C4 are going to sail up from Headless. They're not going to connect, unfortunately. Well, a little bit there onto Pox, but not going to be enough to take him down. He's actually going to peek down through those floor slats. They're not going to find anyone, but is actually going to rotate off. But because now they don't have that vertical control, they're going to have to go for a different type of push, whether that's through Freezer, whether that's through main hall there through VIP, or if that's going to be through Wedding. It's going to be interesting to see which way they go with it.
I'm a little bit worried about is last time LSG's shield fell, he backed off in VIP, called the tight corner, but that allowed Honor to walk through the hallway and get into Freezer and start their assault on the site. And Wolfsy's is using AUG ACOG, and I really, really hate it. LSG is opting to take it aggro instead of playing Harry Potter by white, I believe. As Honor have kind of adjusted their push, they're going towards Bakery side now. You can see Pox. Without the sledge, they...
Wow.
Headless is just going to shut down Pox anyway, and I believe the Kite actually tricked the Ace charges.
Yes, he
did.
did.
There's no open Bakery wall, unless the Ace had originally used it on Prep. but either way, they can't get Bakery Wall open, and that's the most important thing. Sure, opening the prep wall is all well and good, but you don't have that extra sight line in the bomb site. Now, this takes a little bit of damage from prep, but Maple goes down thanks to a well-placed angle from Default over standing on top of the counter. And Vision goes down to Headless as well for his second kill, and it's all up to the AUG ACOG, the most disgusting weapon I have ever seen. And there's Stove to just wide swing him on the window.
Yeah,
a flawless round for PDHM.
Yeah, seeing the POV right there from that IQ, you just saw the Maestro and the Smoke swing at the same time. You know right then and there, there's no way you're coming out of this alive.
Yeah, but, an SMG-11 about 3 feet away from you, backed up by an Alda? Well, no.
Yeah, no, it's over and done with at that point. But with that, PDHM, despite towards the middle of that half, kind of slipping a little bit, managed to pull it back and have pulled out a 4-2 defensive half. Things are looking a lot more in their favor. But
a 4-2 defense, you say? What? Unheard of.
But yeah, I mean, they pulled it out. Despite, I mean, again, slipping there towards the middle, kind of faltering a little bit, but they regained their footing. They were able to counter Honor pretty well. Now Honor have arguably the advantage heading back over defense, and we'll see if they'll be able to pull what they did on Clubhouse, or if they're just gonna pull a standard 4-2 and push us to overtime. I think both of those are entirely possible.
I wonder if PDHM, now that we've got Headless back on Ace, a much more aggressive map than Clubhouse. I wonder if this is where PDHM.
I think it's possible.
So I'm definitely watching.
It's kind of it's similar to what we saw on. I'm getting that deja vu again. Similar to what we saw in Oregon. Is as soon as they switched over to attack, Headless back on that Ace with that AK just became a monster.
I know we're not normally supposed to do that, but I looked at the Twitch stream for 1 second, and the only thing I saw in chat was the P and PDHM stand poggers.
Absolutely. I mean, right now it does, with how well that they're starting to perform. I mean, they're coming back after, coming back after a very, very tense second map and an almost heartbreaking first half of this map. The P and PDHM definitely stands for poggers right now.
P and Default stands for poggers too. I mean, look at him, 8-2 right now on pretty much, what was it, Kite and Maestro, so really gunning for his team. Meanwhile, Headless on the Ace. Again, this is what I'm definitely looking out for PDHM. When Headless wasn't stepping up with that AK-12, they kind of struggled on their Clubhouse attacks. I think if Headless gets his non-existent head back in the game, this could be an easy shoo-in for PDHM. They only need 3 more rounds, and as the clear starts to come out through Piano, of course, this is step number 1, opening the red wall, taking over New Hatch control. There's castle barricades. I don't really know why, because there's
I mean,
no
they have plenty of ways to get rid of this, so it's yeah, I'm not sure what those castle barricades for. Maybe just a utility waste, but they brought breach charges. Yeah, they brought breach charges, so they really didn't waste the utility. Yeah, I mean, it was really kind of a waste. I mean, they've consistently brought a sledge as well in the past. I mean, on both sides they brought sledge. So, Wolfseas.
That is...
Yeah, Wolfseas potentially could have a really big play here. And he's going to throw the C4, pre-place it.
Rip it.
And,
no.
Unfortunately, Wab moved out of the way just in time, but they do know that Wolfseas is downstairs. Now he's going to very quickly rotate, actually, over towards the brown stairs, and I think going to head all the way downstairs, potentially.
I think the hatch actually protected him from some of that damage, but Default taking a 1v2. Well, granted, he didn't know it was a 1v2, but it became that, and Maple will be the one credited with the kill. So the top performer for PDHM through this map so far goes down early, and they lose a lot of utility to boot. And what a shot from Wolfseas all the way on to Newbalk. Stove goes down. LSG and Headless able to trade back one of their own. Tackle shut down the big player as Wav refrags. LSG down. Now it is all up to Wav. 1 HP in a dream. 50 seconds left. Pre-firing in desperation with the SMG-11, but there's one on white. There's one by the bomb chassis, and Pox will finish things off. Honor with their first defense.
Yeah, and I mean this is starting to feel kind of like a standard cafe. I mean, advantage goes to the defense. I mean, it really does in most situations on this map. Is advantage does go to the defense, especially at this level. I mean, it just it's hard to very effectively attack. I mean, you can definitely do it. I mean, we saw it come out from Honor. I mean, they were able to very effectively utilize their vertical control, and they were able to just catch them off guard. I mean, there were a lot of really good things that came from the attack, them adapting to what they saw from PDHM in the first couple of rounds, and then PDHM switching it up, still able to pull it out on top. I think we're going to see something similar from Honor here, just knowing the kind of team that they are.
Halo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever cast Honor when they were Thread the Needle in T3?
No, I did not actually.
This is what we call the Mr. Envision TV Rook Train Hold.
Oh?
What he does is he impacts the floor right by the cigar double, plays inside of train with the 2 times, well, I guess then the ACOG, now the 2 times, and tries to catch anyone rotating in. And for some reason, every attacking team tries to challenge the angle, and Envision gets free picks. So, it's kind of nice seeing that throwback now come to light, as I have not seen Honor play Cafe in quite a long time, but we're going to see the Envision, the Mr. Envision TV Rook hold inside of train. So, no impact just yet, though. Maybe he's opting for a slightly different strategy, but no.
Nope, there it is.
There we go.
It
All right,
is.
that's the hole. He uses both. He gets that long-ass line of sight, and he just peeks up, tries to get picks into cigar. And that is the Envision, train hold.
Yep, as you said, a throwback, but they're very quickly challenging him. They're not challenging him from above. They're going to challenge him on his own level, and, I mean, it's still going to be difficult. I mean, you're going up against the MP5, arguably one of the best weapons on defense, with a 2-time scope. And yes, they took away the ACOG. That 2 times is still just as scary. And that MP5 as well is just overall, it's got such a great fire rate, such a good damage rate. We're already going to have Stove challenging him, but sitting inside that train, it's going to be hard to land some hits on him, but they will be able to down him. And knowing that he's down, they're going to go ahead and challenge one, and Pillars are going to take him down, default finishing him off. Stove finds Pox. Wolfsies quickly refrags back onto Wab, though default taking a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, that's kind of how teams countered it out. They just kind of put, instead of going upstairs, they just kind of pushed it directly. So down goes the Mr. Envision TV train hold. Goodbye, and Pox there to support, unfortunately, will meet his fate as well. And they just know exactly where Wolfsies is. Default on attack. It's Maple in a 1v4. He's gotten a pretty damn influential 4K. He's done it before, but the attackers have plenty of time to push this time. They're not pressed. He does not have the T5, instead only armed with the SMG-11 and the shotgun. Trying to swing out from Pillars. They now know exactly where he is, hugging the reading doorway, trying to take the angle, but he dies to just about 4 different bullet sprays coming all his direction. It's default. Credited with the kill, a 3K on the round from him, and PDHM will remain at a 2-round lead.
Yeah, they are, they're starting to pull ahead a little bit more. I mean, Honor, they really cannot be allowed any more slip-ups. I think if they allow PDHM to get to map point before they're able to pull out a couple more rounds, it's going to be hard for them to come back.
I think it's a repeat of Oregon. Again, it's something that, yes, the map relies on utility, but you can turn it into a frag map.
Yeah,
that is what PDHM are doing.
have done it.
And PDHM just look like.
Defenders, protect your bombs
Remember
used by attackers.
the NAL game when United? Remember when OXG plays against SSG? Like every time.
Mm-hmm.
SSG is very, very structured.
Yes.
The reason why OXG catches them off guard a lot of time is OXG takes these maps. Of course, it's still very ingrained in strategy, but OXG are a much more aggressive, much more flexible, and therefore much more unpredictable team. They can take these maps like Oregon, like Cafe,
10 seconds left.
like Clubhouse, and turn the mold against SSG.
5
Be like,
seconds left before
we're going to play standard. We are not going to play structured. We're just going to run at you with everything we have, and that's what PDHM do. PDHM so far are relying very little on hard breach, very little on utility clear, because Honor are not really leaning into and PDHM are just saying, okay, we're going to push in, we're going to find the gunfights, and we're going to frag you out because we are better in that aspect. Honor are a very structured team, but PDHM just seem to be not necessarily not as flexible as OXG in NAL, but very fluid, very fast-paced,
Yeah.
very aggressive, and it looks like Honor just keeps getting caught off guard.
Yeah. They really are. So I'm interested to see if Honor are going to adapt their style a little bit. It looks like they might be. I mean, there are 3 C4s on the board here. You have one in the hands of Maple, one in the hands of Envision, and one in the hands of Pox. I mean, all of those can be potentially scary if played correctly. And it looks like that Stove was aware of someone sitting up there. Wow, that is a long angle. He sees the arm of the Cade, is not able to connect any shots. So Default, looking through that hole, is actually going
He's still getting shot.
This
is an awkward fight.
It is a very awkward fight, and
So-
he just ate that.
That angle actually looks all the way up to the white window.
Wow.
So Envision with a very long angle, not able to find a pick, but is able to deal 50 damage to Default. But Default seems completely unabated by that engagement. He'll continue to push down white stairs and pressure the white hallway. Of course, Pox pre-firing over, and of course there is someone, I believe, in Whiskey to support, so if Default isn't careful, he can get easily caught out by this crossfire. There's the Malusi peeking, and there we go! Wolf sees no intel on him. He'll find the easy frag on Default as he was too distracted by the player in VIP to pay attention to the cross. From the restaurant window, Stove will miss some key shots, and Pox will persist, but Wolf sees frag
Why would you
chases,
swing that?
and Headless is able to pick up that kill. I don't know why he swung that, but he did, and now we're back to even man count. 50 seconds left is down white. There's Wav to pick up Pox. Now PDHM are in the advantage. Maple doing his best to turn things around. He's inside of coat check, but he's cornered. The attackers know exactly where he is, and if they take those long-range engagements with their ACOGs, they should win it out, but Maple's gonna hug the corner. He's gonna use his shotgun, not fully flashed, but he's gonna take the swing? Stove should not have gotten that kill. I don't know why Maple peeked out. He has the shotgun. He's not flashed. He just needs to hold firm. It's a 90-degree angle on a vault. That doesn't make sense to me. And down, no, from the top of the Whiskey wall. Tech is down by a nade. It's all up to Envision with a TCSG and a dream. 1 versus 3 as Tech is irrecoverable. 10 seconds left. He can stall out time if he picks off the planter. And coming through, the Nomad wins the fight. They trade. LSG finds the headshot just as the TSG taps him down. And that is map and match and possible relegation point for PDHM.
One more round. Honor have to play this flawlessly for the next 3 rounds if they want any chance of staying in this. I mean, they are taking angles they don't need to. Again, it's deja vu back to Oregon. They're swinging things they don't need to. They're peeking angles they don't need to. They need to tighten up. They need to really just batten down. They need to play this safe because of how aggressive PDHM is. Let them come to you. Do not get aggressive unless it is absolutely 110% necessary. PDHM will come to you. You just have to be ready for it.
Yeah, and ready for it, they are not.
They
Honor,
absolutely are not.
Like I keep saying, it was happening on Oregon, and it's happening here on Cafe. PDHM are so aggressive that every time PDHM peel off, Honor get jittery. Honor get jumpy.
Yeah.
They jump the gun, and they try and leap on the retreating players. But PDHM know how to play against their own game. PDHM are ready for those swings. Picking up 3 kills. Default. The man of the hour, both in this match and PDHM's last match against Slaughterhouse, the sub, or the coach, filling in for Wix, has dropped double digits, literally every map. Every map. All 5. All 5. That is, for a coach, or I guess what is, our good friend JJ down in T3 calls Jolts the Goach? Goated coach? I mean, Default is doing way more than his fair share. It's really impressive to see.
Absolutely. I mean, Default, and Headless as well, showing up out of nowhere to just absolutely run Honor on map number 1 default, and WAV actually taking that position this time. But I mean, things are a little bit more evenly distributed on PDHM than we've seen before, but Honor, again, I think I honestly feel like Honor could have taken this at multiple different points, but it's just they're peaking things they don't need to. They're taking engagements that they don't need to. They're taking engagements on PDHM's terms. They're not taking them on their own terms, which on defense, you really, really need to take engagements on your own terms and not play into the hands of the attack.
Default put a breach in the barricade, and WAV was like, no, I'm gonna sledge it. WAV, unfortunately, will pay the ultimate price to trade back for his teammate's breaching charge he destroyed. Pox will get the opening pick. Down goes the sledge. WAV has not been having the massive impact he had against Slaughterhouse. He's still been doing his job. Unfortunately, one castle barricade is the only influence he'll have on this round, as the C4 from below. Second time's the charm. Wolfsies will get default, and there goes the power player for PDHM. It's a 5v3 already.
Yeah, and things are looking a little bit better than Honor. For Honor. I mean, they're getting the kills they need to. They're taking engagements on their own terms. That C4, that kill onto WAB, they're not swinging and peeking where it's unnecessary. They're doing things right. They're not. I mean, they're just not playing this as aggressively as they were before, and that's what they needed. Absolutely, it's what they needed. And LSG is going to get very aggressive, and because they had people set up and waiting, they were able to take the fights. And now it's Headless on 1 HP in a 3v1. He's done it before. Can he do it again? We are yet to see.
That is 1 HP, so I don't think the likelihood of that happening is all too high. Pushing up towards pallets, pre-firing will reveal his location, and as he swings over towards Cocktail, he should be a dead man very soon, having to hit the reload, vaulting over the small bar. He's going to hit the plant, but I believe there might be an Evil Eye staring at him. He's pinged out, and there we go. Freezer is where he'll die from. Wolfseed is finisher. Honor, round number 10. That was that was rough for PDHM. Everything about that attack was completely stumped in piano. They made a gambit, tried to rush through Freezer, and it only netted 1 kill.
And again, that boils down to what I was saying before: as Honor, if they don't swing unnecessarily, if they don't just pull things out of nowhere when they don't need to peek, they don't need to push, they can take this. And that's exactly what we just saw. They didn't push unnecessarily. There were a couple times, it's like that 1v3. They pushed, they collapsed in on him, they knew exactly where he was. That is the time to push. But they know that the attack is getting ready to be aggressive. Don't match their aggression with aggression. Sit, wait for them to swing into you. Yes, they lost a player on that swing in, but they immediately were able to get the refrag. And as I've said before, trades on attack hurt more than trades on defense.
Yep. It is kind of the story of the meta right now. And I'm a little bit worried. Honor gonna be going for the Mr. Envision _TV Rookhold inside of Train. Last time they did this, PDHM had a 4-to-1 kill differential in their favor with half.
Yeah.
5 seconds left.
Unless Honor do something drastically different, or maybe, I don't know, I guess win their fights this time, because Pox and Envision got crushed. I think this might be it. PDHM, they know what they need to do to take this. Really falls upon Honor to break the mold, win the fights, take PDHM's aggressive playstyle for granted, hold the angles, and let them walk into you.
Yeah, they could definitely do that. And PDHM, they just need to keep playing off of Honor's mistakes. They absolutely do, because all they need is 1 slip up from Honor. I mean, that's the thing. Honor has to play perfectly to pull this to overtime. PDHM just needs a single slip up from Honor, and they can take this and they will pull themselves to the CACL finals. Honor have got a lot longer of a way to go if they want to make this happen. And as I said, they've got to play this perfectly. Envision playing that hole that he played once again It didn't work out for him last time, and that was because they pushed him directly. They aren't pushing him directly this time.
Yeah.
This may yet to net him some kills. This may yet to prove helpful for him, but we'll see how this turns out. Especially since they aren't pushing him directly. That could turn out in Honor's favor, because I don't think they even know that he's down there either.
Oh, I would assume they know because they saw the Rook. Like, that's the only thing Envision's going to be doing with Rook. That's a nice pre-fire from Tac to light up default, but it won't find the kill. As PDHM are going and working towards this cocktail push. LSG with the false frag. Wolfseas goes down. And a good start for PDHM's clear, as Wolfseas has been the top fragger for Honor so far through pretty much every map, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And now in their most crucial time of need, he's not going to be able to affect the round. 5 versus 4 is now PDHM have peeled off their cocktail clear, and they look like that now they might be trying to hammer at Envision. There's the tight angles being played. If you're an attacker, I would not be challenging this, and that's exactly why. LSG, you cannot fight that angle. That's what he's known for. So he'll go down. We're back to even, and PDHM are not hitting him as hard as they once were, but Mr. Envision whiffs the shots. He'll be downed, and he'll be irrecoverable. Back to a 4 versus 3. Pox, Tac, and Maple trying to clutch out the round. Maple with 1, default with the finisher. Back to even. But positionally, PDHM in the advantage is they still hold top floor control. Maple will get very lit up as the reading wall will fall, but it doesn't look like Headless has info on the Valkyrie sitting behind the bookcase. He can't find the flick, but now they know she's there. Popping up, she'll find the frag anyway. Can't get the second as she's traded by Headless. There's only 10 seconds left. They have to make this push happen soon. It'll be a 1v2. It'll be up to default to cover, as Headless will be stuck in the plant, but Maple will finish him off. No need for the plant. It's 0-0. Default has no time, and that's a successful reading defense for Honor, and we'll need every round of regulation to settle Cafe.
This is coming down to the wire. Honor have started tightening things up. I think Pox just kind of got on the mic and said, "Hey, stop being so aggressive. Stop swinging when we don't need to. We gotta keep this together." And these last couple of rounds, they've done that. I mean, up in bar, they didn't get aggressive when they didn't need to. Same thing just happened here on reading. Now they're gonna head back down to kitchen. I mean, this is what needs to happen. So they just don't need to play aggressive. They just that has been their one pitfall constantly, has just been their aggression, and PDHM has really capitalized. I mean, they've done such a good job on capitalizing on that, because they know if they're gonna swing that, I am in the advantage, so they go for it. So I mean, and that's another thing, is we've been kind of back and forth on both teams. I want to give massive props to not only Honor for being able to pull PDHM so close, but PDHM for the amount of improvement they have made over the last break. I mean, before, as we said, they finished 6th at the end of last stage. They were one of the first teams that we cast. We cast them versus Axios, and again, Axios wiped the floor with them. And they have come back, and they have shown that they are definitely in the running, and they are not someone to be counted out in the slightest.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some great improvement we've seen from them so far. This site is kitchen. We're gonna need some improvement from Honor if they hope to take this to OT. PDHM last time, so they struggled a little bit with the VIP clear. Once they got that position, they just kind of snowballed into Whiskey, took out the guy in coat check because Maple swung wide with a shotgun, despite the attacker being all the way across the room. Just kind of collapsed on site. That was it. Done and dusted. So PDHM will be going for yet again a top-down clear. There will be no early roamer for them to pick off, though, so I'm glad Honor are not giving them that free kill upstairs. I think it was Pox. I want to say it was Pox last time, just kind of hiding upstairs as Jaeger, and PDHM just knew where he was and slammed him.
Yep.
Everyone down on site, and they're bringing the Goyo. So slightly different, but they've got a lot dedicated over towards Bakery. With the freezer wall being kited off, I'm not sure if PDHM are going to be able to clear that, but of course they do have the sledge. They can just go above and freezer, destroy whatever, and then nade the electric.
Yeah, so Looks like they're not even going to worry about the top floor here. They've cleared it out now, and they're going to go ahead and start getting this vertical control open. WAV going to be very pivotal, just as TAC was on the sledge on their attack. And we'll see how Honor deals with this vertical control. We've yet to see how they really deal with how well they deal with it, because they didn't have to worry about it last time because PDHM just pushed them directly and Honor peeked into it. Now PDHM is playing a little bit more slowly than they have before. They're working, they're getting this vertical control. I mean, they've spent 2 minutes now and they haven't yet made a move on the site. They're doing a lot of prep work for this last push.
Maple will take a little bit of damage, I believe, from an exploding Goyo shield, thanks to Stove. They've got info on the Legion and coat check, though. And there's the pings. Wolfsy's finally, I guess, going to take out the drone. Or I think that was actually a nade to kill... Yeah, WAV naded the drone by accident, so no more free intel on Wolfsy's. And 40 seconds left. PDHM trying to make their push down. They see that Kochek is castle barricaded as well, so they won't be able to get that free split angle on the Legion. His default is still going to work on the vertical play, along with WAV. No kills have come from it just yet. Just a bit of damage as Envision will get lit up, and there's Wolfsy's trying to back away from the angle. He knows the sledge is right next to him. WAV is trying to find it, and here's Stove for the pinch, but they don't know Maple's all the way down in small bake. Stove could easily get caught out, but wait, Headless is just planting? The player inside of Kochek is actually downed and dead. WAV with that kill, and the plant is completed. Where was the counter from Honor? There's no denial. There's 2 kills for PDHM. There's 3 kills for PDHM. It's Envision in a 1v3. The last hope for Honor to try and make the Pro League relegations. But if he falls, it's all over. Default, Headless, and LSG, some of the star performers for the team, the last alive, and they've had plenty of time to back out in a post-plant position. It's behind the bomb chassis, the most default plant. They've got the holes above. They've got men inside of white. Some shots above missed, but they know he's there. Coming from the breach, there's a stack up, and LSG for his 11th kill finishes us off. The favorites to win the whole stage yet again, Honor, will fall in the semifinals. 2-1 to PDHM.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a redemption story. That is what this is. PDHM saw, all right, we finished 6th last stage. That's not happening again. We can tell very, very clearly from this that they have put in work behind the scenes. PDHM have put in the effort to make themselves better. They have put in the effort to say, we are not going down like we did last time. We want Pro League, and we are going to make it ours.
And
they have absolutely shown up and shown out. And even on the map that they lost, they pulled it very, very close.
yeah, it was still 7-5.
It was still 7-5, and it was tied pretty close throughout that entire match. I mean, PDHM is going to be a force to reckon with come the finals. They will be playing the winners of Oblivion Oceanus. I mean, that is going to be that is hands down going to be one of the best matches in CACL. I mean,
we gotta hand it out. You know, the guy who just clutched that round that was on the replay, Default.
Yeah,
Default is such a mind-blowingly large reason of why PDHM have been as successful as they are. Coming in as the emergency sub in place of Wick, who's currently having his own struggle with COVID. Wick, you know, we wish you well. Default
Absolutely.
has not slouched at all. He had 13 kills the first game. Of course, there was a rehost in the second, but I'm pretty sure he still broke double digits. And 13 kills on Cafe. 13-5. He was absolutely on fire. He had some slow moments, but every time he had a slow moment, the next round he'd pick it up again to make up for it. Default going absolutely insane. LSG finally reaching double digits too on his flank watch role. I mean, this was an extremely exciting series, and I don't think anybody expected Honor to not make it to final.
I can say almost without a doubt that knowing the results of last stage and coming into this, I honestly thought that Honor was going to come away with it, but I was not taking into account how much PDHM have worked to get where they are now. Because I mean, you can the improvement is absolutely immeasurable. And I just have no words other than I am just so it always warms my heart. It doesn't matter which team it is, it doesn't matter which division, what league, what level of play that they are. Seeing that level of improvement from a team, from a player, from a group of people in general, especially in this game, is always so wonderful to see. And to see PDHM rise up from almost being in relegations. I mean, they were this close to being relegated out of CL, to come back and to defeat the reigning champions of Stage 1 and knock them out in semifinals, and proceed now to the finals where they get to prove their worth once and for all.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of, I saw Fozo in chat. Reminded me of Beast Coast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beast
Coast
Coast
redemption story.
Took down the team that took down the Last Dance, who were the winners of Stage 1 in USCL, and the improvement from Beast Coast
absolutely
is immeasurable. And you can kind of draw a lot of parallels between them and PDHM. They struggled with a lot of, I think they had coordination issues in the beginning of the first stage. They were dropping a lot of the gunfights, maybe not playing as a team as well. But we saw, you know, although PDHM struggled sometimes with the drone game, like mid-round, they definitely picked it up on Cafe. It was a lot better. But no matter what, I think the most important thing is that they always had each other's back. Which is something I think that was definitely commendable. The trade game was nearly always in PDHM's favor. I think they pushed together way more as like a, not necessarily as a cohesive unit, because of course, you know, there were a lot of hero plays, which I think was the story of PDHM's victory. It looked like their team was just a little bit more cohesive. There were less, I think, really questionable stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the only criticism I really had from them was that there were times where it felt like intel was kind of an issue for them. Then there were times where it felt like they were almost too aggressive. But I mean, other than that, I mean, those were the things that also ended up helping them, because they didn't waste time droning. They didn't spend any time droning. It allowed them more time to set up, allowed them to be more careful with their setup. It allowed them more time to work with, and a lot of just aggression that really helped them. So we are actually ready to have an interview with Stove, so I will throw it over to Crow, and we'll get to hear from Stove now.
Hello, Stove. So, you guys just took down the winners of last. You took down the winners, or the team that pretty much everyone thought was gonna win the stage again. How's it feel?
It feels great. My heart is pumping right now. We're all really excited. Of course, they're a really good team. We respect them a lot, but we think we played really good today.
Yeah, man, my heart is pounding. That was an exciting series, and I think, you know, you guys coming off of what, a 6th place finish last stage, to see you guys now in contention from first. I mean, what was the big change? What was the spark for this, you know, like the rocket ship upwards of improvement?
So last season, well, we can say last stage, our team had some internal issues in terms of who we should play, what roles each person is more comfortable on, and we weren't able to practice our strats fully, and we also didn't scrim much last stage. And this stage, we made 2 switches. We got LSG and WAV. WAV is really good on the roam, just really good fragger. LSG is our in-game leader. He does a really good job. And we started practicing a lot more, and that's frankly, I think, the biggest difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, practice makes perfect, right? I know LSG has been around for a while. I think he and WAV have actually teamed before. They're also coming in with that synergy. I mean, if we want to talk about map 1, Headless. Headless went from 1 kill in an entire series last week to 13 frags on the Ace. I mean, was that you guys putting him in more of a bit of a fragger role because, of course, Ace has the AK-12, or was that him just stepping up when he needed to and just having a really good day?
Yeah, I think he definitely had a really good day. It's also attributed to that, like, he's a really good player. It's just last game he didn't perform his best. knows that, and he's constantly trying to improve on his own gameplay, and clearly it's showing today, and he wowed everyone. We were all surprised, but
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised by his performance. He without him, we might have not even been able to take the first map. But
Yeah, I mean, I know, what was it, like round 4, he put in chat, he was like, wow, 9 times my kills from the first series already.
yeah, I think he clutched like a 1v2 or 1v3 like 3 rounds in a row. That was nuts.
Yeah, it was all him. And then on the defense, it was all Default. And in fact, I mean, throughout all 3 maps, Default has been putting up such numbers. I'm pretty sure he's broken double digits every map you guys have played so far. And I mean, because I know he was previously in a starting position, but you guys had to take him off due to 3/5, and now he's kind of like just in the emergency sub to take place for Wick. I mean, has a lot of stuff changed from that, or has he just inherited Wick's roles and just kind of rolled with it?
I think both of them, both Wick and Default, are really good flex players, so we put them on the same roles. And this doesn't matter with Wick or with Default. Like Default's a really good player, and you can see like he's really consistent, even on the support role on defense, playing the Cade or like the Mute and stuff, or the Maestro, that he can frag and help his team no matter what. And I don't think it was honestly that difficult to transition to Default over the past 2 weeks because of Wick's situation.
And one more thing. So after Orion, you guys have a resounding victory there. What do you think was your biggest problem on Clubhouse? Because Clubhouse, you guys had the lead for a little bit. Unfortunately, you couldn't make it to the 4-2 half to bring it to OT. What do you think was your biggest shortcoming?
We thought Clubhouse was kind of shaky. We did really good on defense. Probably we should have won 5-1 on defense, but it happens. But on attack, we had a lot of man advantages. I think one time we were like 5 versus 2, and the other time was 5 versus 3, and then we just started all rushing. And from that, we didn't drone enough. So yeah, we kind of threw 2 rounds, and I think that was one of the biggest deciding factors why we lost the map.
Yeah, I mean, turn those 2 rounds in your favor, and that becomes a 7-5 for you guys. But we're out of time. So, Stove, if there is anything you want to say before we cut off the interview to your fans, to the org, to your supporters, Twitch chat?
I like to say thank you for the support. I hope we prove the doubters wrong, and hope you guys can all support us in the future. Thanks to our org. PDHM is really supportive, and I know they're cheering us on all the time. And to our support staffs, our coach, analyst, they're doing a really good job. We couldn't have done it without them.
Thank you very much, Stowe, for joining me on the interview. Very wise words, and I can say I'm so happy to see the improvement from you guys. Seeing a team kind of down in the dumps in the first stage just have such a resounding success right now is always good to see. So, Stowe, thank you very much, and I definitely look forward to seeing you guys in the final.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, you too, man.
So, all right, yeah, and that was very wonderful to hear that from Stove. I mean, yeah, hearing all of that improvement and how much that they work to just iron things out with the team, get things back into a good spot, and now we're seeing them. I mean, they're in the finals.
Yeah,
they are in the finals. They have won Group A. I mean, they are sitting on top. We're actually going to throw it to the bracket now so we can take a look at where they've come. Yeah, they've triumphed over Slaughterhouse, they've triumphed over Honor, and now they sit at the top. And now it's just a matter of Deslats versus Slaughterhouse to determine who will face Honor.
Yeah, and of course, if Deslats end up winning, we'll have another Deslats Honor rematch. We have a lot of rematches actually for the second place kind of tie, or the fourth place game. That's what it is. Third, fourth place game. Decide what goes there. But we do have more matches on the way. Of course, this was only the first one. We have a total of 4 today. So after this short break, we will have the second winners game. It's going to be the Group B game of Team Oblivion versus Oceanus Gaming. Another rematch from Stage 1, and that'll be casted by our good friends Uzu and Razors. So right after this short 5-minute break, we'll have that second game for you and ready.